Best phrase in all of sports, Football Friday. Big Sil's here for you here, and we appreciate you guys coming aboard. We know that there are other places for you guys to go, and we so appreciate you stepping in with us each and every single day. We thank you very much. And, of course, this is going to be more of an exhibition football game. But before we go, hey, we're powered for the next 4 hours by our friends at BetUS. Please make sure you check out the website during this great time of the year. Bowl games going on. Obviously, NFL football, we're now ramped up into playoff mode, even though the Eagles are going to take the weekend off. Okay, no problem. Again, I don't really like how we're getting here, but hey, whatever. Significant game Sunday night between the Lions and the Vikings. I can't wait to watch men fight for a job and fight for a home field advantage in the NFC playoffs. I can't wait for that. So week 18, it's got a lot of ramifications still on playoff seeding and all that. So we appreciate that. Again, we thank you guys for coming aboard here. Please hit the like button. First 15 minutes are one of the most important times of the program, and we appreciate it. By the way, if you hear noises going off in the background, I don't know what it is, man. I mean, I'm just getting inundated. If you go over to my Facebook and you go to my Twitter, you go to my LinkedIn, what have you, every second we are now getting people thanking us and congratulating us and giving us happy birthday wishes. So we appreciate it. Xander started the morning off with me, and we got it from everybody. So we appreciate that so much. Yes, today is Big Sil's birthday, and Xander goes, how long are you going to do this? I'm like, hey, man, since I don't have to get on and get up off my ass to get in my car and go to a studio, I'm going to be doing this for a long time. So we appreciate you guys being here each and every single day. And I got to tell you something right out of the gate, too, that you guys are going to – I got to thank you for. So today's my birthday, and thank you guys. I appreciate that, man. I mean it, man. Sil's turned 42 today. Yeah. On one leg. How you doing? Hey, listen, I got to tell you guys something. Thank you. I woke up this morning, and I knew it was my birthday today. And I get a great email from the Florida Sports Hall of Fame. I've been nominated for the Florida Sports Hall of Fame. And I think that's got a lot to do with me being relevant and me being still relevant. Look, I always thought my resume is good enough. Like, again, as a professional, it's complicated because NFL-wise, no, but other things that I've done, broadcasting-wise and such, especially my college career, I believe I have the resume to be considered for such an honor. And so they've said, listen. And so today, Jimmy Johnson endorsed me, Barry Switzer endorsed me, Dabo Sweeney endorsed me, Kyle Whittingham also endorsed me. Chuck Todd endorsed me. John Morgan. A whole bunch of people have sent it in. So I think it's got a lot to do with you and really the show, because people know where the show is. And by the way, Britt and Covey, all them guys are sending nominations in for me and endorsements in for me, and I appreciate that. There's more Eagle players that like me, believe me, than you know. And there's more Eagle coaches that like me than you think, okay? Just to be fair here, I talk to more people than you know. Again, I'm not going to sit here and start divulging conversations that I have. Now I sound like Nick Sirianni. But, hey, man, I mean, yeah, we have conversations all the time. And, by the way, I'm not trying to get any kind of inside scoop on anybody. Oh, speaking of that, Angelo Cataldi is going to join us at 3:30. You see the Inquirer trying to undermine JAKIB Sports because they won't give you credit because Angelo came on this program on December 23rd and said Howard Eskin was asked to leave WIP because of another incident that he had there. Angelo wouldn't go into it. And all of a sudden, the Inquirer and Cross-Dressing Broad and some of these other places are trying to take credit for breaking. Even Jeff McClain, quote, Jeff McClain. These guys are trying to take, like, a story that we broke, like, a week ago. I mean, you heard it. You heard Angelo here say it. Hey, man, that wasn't a retirement. he was pushed out. And by the way, he was asked not to come back to the Eagle facility. Okay? And that wasn't said on our program because Angelo didn't want to go that deep. But, I mean, it just shows you, man. I mean, hey, look, you know what they're going to do always, Xander? They're always going to throw shit at us. But when we do something here that, again, that's unjournalistic. Hey, by the way, do I care that we get the credit? Fuck no. But what I do care is you only write bullshit, and when we say something, you take credit for it? I mean, you take credit for it? That's not even in your – I'm not a journalist. Okay? So it doesn't matter to me. It's just my problem is how they see themselves. Like CNN, those people think they're journalists. They're activists. Like ESPN, let's do this. Right out of the gate here. By the way, we're going to get to our takeaways for this weekend for the Giant game. We're going to do that here in a minute. But here's a prime example. So ESPN won't show the national anthem where everybody was screaming USA, USA. And the ridiculous CEO, Tom Wilson of Allstate, refused to go into it being a terrorist attack outside of the Sugar Bowl. Instead, he started lecturing you on being together, decisiveness. It was an anti-Trump thing. And again, I'm not telling you what side to pick. Dude, you just had a terrorist attack in New Orleans, and you're lecturing people? And then ESPN not showing the national anthem? Why? I'm convinced ESPN hates America. I am convinced they hate America. That people who sit in the stands are Republicans and Democrats. They're not just Republicans. They're Republicans and Democrats. I told you this before. The greatest place in America today, and the only place that's left, is a stadium. Okay? Where you can sit next to a Republican and sit next to an independent and sit next to a Democrat and go, how about those fucking Eagles? It's the only place that's left that you can do that. That's why, again, here, listen, I promise you, this is no political statement. I'm talking about sports here. I'm talking more about sports. We put a show on every day to bring all together. This is why I allow people and I like people, Republican and Democrat. Don't you notice Republicans and Democrats bitch at me every day? It's not one-sided. It's by design. It's by design. I want that. You know why? It's the only place you have for debate. Radio stations tune off one side. TV networks do the same thing. Fox and ESPN. We don't. Xander barely blocks people unless you're spamming or a complete asshole. We don't do that here. That's why they hate you, because you have a voice here. Okay? I mean, that's clearly why they hate you. Okay? I mean, dude, Americans chanting USA at the Superdome is not political, nor is the national anthem. I didn't know it was awful to celebrate America unless you're on ESPN or you're part of Disney. Terrible, man. That's a shitty message. And they're getting hammered for it, rightfully so. They're absolutely getting hammered for it. And they should get hammered for it. Nobody's picked. Hey, when America's attacked, like it was on 9/11, that had nothing to do with politics. It had everything to do with us being together. Dude, I'm not here to give you some sort of lecture and talk down to anybody here. I'm just saying, fuck, what's going on here, man? Dude, not very cool here. All right. Speaking of not very cool, hit the like button, guys. I appreciate you being here on my birthday. Thank you. All supers go to the top. Thank you guys very much. It is a Football Friday, so we're going to stay Football Friday. Boy, I'll tell you, man, it's really disappointing to hear Saquon Barkley say how much he really wanted to go for the record. It really is. It's more disappointing. And get this, I happen to agree with Philly 500. They're tied together. Hey, do you know when Twiz was saying yesterday that A.J. Brown was lost last year in a meaningless game? No, it wasn't. It wasn't a meaningless game. Last game of the year last year, as far as my memory remembers, was that you guys were still fighting for the NFC East. You guys were still playing for the NFC East and you lost it. That wasn't a meaningless game. No matter what they tell you and try to sell you, that's not a meaningless game. You were still playing for the NFC East. Okay? So A.J. Brown did not get hurt in a meaningless football game. You guys were in a nuclear meltdown. You were in place to win the home field advantage. You blew that. And then the last thing you could have won was the East. Instead, you ended up losing that game, and you lost the East to the Cowboys. Okay? I mean, it wasn't a meaningless game that he ended up getting hurt in. This is completely different. This is an attitude game. Hey, by the way, isn't it really awful how the Eagles have gone in and now made every player lie on how their feelings really are publicly? Why can't you let people just be themselves? My God almighty, the Eagles have no personality on this team. And you know the guy that I shit on the most when it comes to his personality is AJ? I should be celebrating it. Okay, I should be celebrating it. He's the only guy in that team with a personality. Hey, man, for the beer. Happy birthday to you, old fart. How you doing? Jeff, thank you, brother. Thank you very much. I should be celebrating AJ. Sills still wants Barkley to play. So does the entire Eagle team. Not just Sills. The Eagle team does. Look at West Philly. Look at him here. He's trying to tell you that he doesn't believe the Eagle players want to play. Don't let that fucking place lie to you like that. There's not one redeeming thing that they're saying that makes it truthful, what they're saying. Hey, by the way, holy cow. Now, one question today to Nick Sirianni about the backlash that the Eagles have gotten for this and the decision that they made not to play Barkley. They were prepped by Bob Lang not to ask any questions. Thank you, Tony. Appreciate it. I see all the birthday wishes. Thank you, my friends. Okay? Man. Incredible. Okay? I mean, it's absolutely sad in a way that you got to go to your team and your players. Hey, we want everybody to be on the same. You hear Nick say it all the time. We prep our guys. We teach our guys to talk to the media. There's no doubt they got in there and they said, we need everybody on the same page here. Because you know why? They don't want the owner to look bad. They don't want the owner to look bad. That's not true. That's not true because first he said he wanted them to get it. Then he backtracked and became a company man. Leader of your team? Fuck. Where was he a year ago, Isaiah? When you were in a nuclear meltdown. Some leader. Leader of your team. I didn't see one bit of leadership a year ago, and now I see that's not leadership. That's not leadership. Leadership is when you need it when the ship's going down, not when you're riding high. Holy shit. Isaiah, what kind of fucking leader do you have? When decisions have to be made. When you're storming the beaches at Normandy and you know men are going to die. Then you got a general that's going to lead you into battle knowing there's casualties coming. It's called risk. It's called putting your ass on the line. That's the kind of mentality I want. That kind of mentality. Hey, we're going to lose people here, man. We're going to lose people here. But things you want in life come with risk. And by the way, why do I have to pick fucking one or the other? Don't talk to me about what I should want. How about what I have earned? What I have earned. Don't you love it when people in our country today try to tell you what you should have, knowing full well you've earned it? And they want to take that away from you because of your hard work, your ingenuity, and your desire to be great. I mean, tell me, hey, James, I'd like to know what Dan Quinn said. I'd like that. Hey, get this too. There's really only one part of the entire conversation that Saquon spoke and made any kind of sense with. Here, let me give you a portion of what the reality and the truth was that Saquon said when asked about him going for the record. And it was really cool. By the way, thank you to the NFL Players Association for just wishing me a happy birthday. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. So Saquon Barkley, I guess, opened up a little bit about what his feelings were. Here, when I slept on it, I was like, this is an opportunity to implement my name in football history, Barkley said. You may never get an opportunity like that again. So I'm down. Star of your football team is disappointed because the Eagles made a decision on what's best for him. Where was Nick backing his players? Then again, when would Nick ever back a coach or a player? As Sean Desai and Brian Johnson. There's no backing any players. Hey, and by the way, I see all kinds of conversations out there. Nick Sirianni's job potentially I don't believe it. Could be on the firing line if they don't go far in the playoffs. They're not firing that guy winning 13 ball games. That's not happening. He's the quintessential perfect hire for Jeffrey Lurie. You know why? He does whatever he's told. And as long as he goes along with the program, he'll remain one of those winning coaches that they have hired since 2000. They'll continue to build the team around him. By the way, okay, there's no question. Nick goes along and takes the bullets for the owner. You know who he is? You know who Nick Sirianni really is? He's a smaller version of Roger Goodell. Roger Goodell is there to take all the boos at the draft, all the haymakers that the media throws, so that the owners don't get hit with it. He's the punching bag. That's what Goodell is, and that's what Roger Goodell gets paid $67 million for, because he is the owner's punching bag. I mean, just joined Barkley practicing. Any chance he's in? No way. No way. No way. I'll tell you what. It would be a reward. Can you imagine if the Eagles just rolled out all the starters in the opening quarter and they played and they went out there? He'd probably get 125 yards in the first half. You would kill. This is not true. Again, here's Anthony assuming, again, like the owners. Anthony's thinking for me. Like Jeffrey Lurie is thinking for the players. You would kill Nick if he made a decision to play and someone got hurt. No, I wouldn't. It's football. Holy shit, man. Are you under the impression I've never seen people hurt in games? Me personally, I'm not concerned about Hurts being rusty than the record. How about this, Anthony? I think it's a mindset. And I would not. By the way, Anthony, get this, because Anthony's right. Absolutely not right. Anthony knows one thing about me. I don't lie. Why would I lie? Why? I have no earthly reason to lie to Anthony. None. Okay? I might lie to my wife. Anthony, I'm not lying to Anthony. He and I have a relationship on a daily basis, but I don't think we're that tight yet, Anthony. You know what I mean? Like me and my wife are. For me to have to lie to you yet. Okay? Anthony, if it was here, Anthony, watch this. If it was a regular season game and Barkley was going for the single season rushing crown, or he was going for an individual award or something like that, and he was far away or 140 yards, I wouldn't play him either. Okay? I wouldn't play him. This is different. And by the way, the more you talk about it, the more it becomes apparent the attitude that the organization has. Can I tell you this too, Anthony? It actually exposes how Howie and Jeffrey Lurie think. Let's pretend this, Anthony. You and me are right. Okay, rest the guys. Just to hear them talking about it and the way they talk about it is cringy. I don't want anybody to get hurt. We want to preserve everybody. You know what can happen in a game like that? It's football. I mean, this isn't baseball or basketball, or this is football. Things happen all the time. Aaron Rodgers, last year, 4 seconds into a game, he blows his Achilles out. He's lost for the year. Things like that happen. No matter what the circumstances are. You playing preventative football is so cringy. It's why you are the team of non-championships. I've said it yesterday and I'll say it again. And I know John McMullen will disagree. That's fine. I don't think you have a championship mentality. Champions don't pick and choose when to be great. You're great all the time. You're great no matter what. You're great no matter what time of day it is. You don't pick and choose. I'm going to pull back here. What's a champ? When have you ever seen a champion do shit like that? Hey, again, I'm not expecting a lot of you to understand this. Okay, I am. I'm not expecting you. Why would I? Happy birthday, big guy. Thank you, Leon. I like JAKIB because you honor free speech. Let me tell you something before I go on and read. You know what Leon probably look at what Leon did. He's showing the show respect, and he's gonna go like this. Now here, I'm gonna dive in on you. He's perfect for our program. I hope you get some tonight from Mrs. Sills. You deserve it. Much love, bro. Thank you, Leon. Then Leon's next post will be, now, Sills, we ain't going for that record. Dude, Leon gets it. Okay? Leon gets it. You know what that is? Hey, Sills, I don't come here to agree with you. I come here to tell you what I think of what you're saying. I want thousands of people like that. Sills, Anthony, I want him to play. Hurts rust is my concern. We're going to get into that topic, Anthony. I promise. We're going to get into that. Okay? Because Xander brought that up yesterday. Believe it or not, young Xander's bringing some pretty decent topics to the table, like the Shane Steichen thing, and now this. He did. Let's see what Dave. Sills, what happens after the rest the starters and don't get the record? They lose. Who gets the blame? Okay, how about this? What if you lose the Super Bowl and you pass on the record? Dave, can I make a point to you guys? The record has nothing to do with the Super Bowl. How have you tied that in? How are you tying that in? The record has nothing to do with the Super Bowl. Nothing. Happy birthday. I've learned more about the game by watching your show than all other talking heads combined. Damn, Josh. That's a tremendous compliment. Thank you very much. And I'll tell you what, I've learned a lot on this new platform from all of you, especially Xander. Let me tell you something. I was great at radio, okay? But I can't tell you how much shit I talked about things no one cared about. If I had to do my radio career over again, do you understand that this chat room kind of in a way is a barometer of what goes and what people want to hear and what people don't want to hear? It's kind of a lifeline. There was things I must have been talking about that, my wife used to text me. She produced my show for 20 years. You know what she told me? Boring. I can't tell you how many times I must have been boring. Okay, I can't. I put topics out there that you want to hear. Barkley's humanity shown means ditto to the suits. Dude, Sydney, great call. How about this? The New York Giants have come out. Thank you, Brian. I see that. Hey, the New York Giants have come out and said Saquon Barkley's leadership was underestimated when we let him go. Boy, I'll tell you something. His leadership, he is a leader. He reminds me of guys like Dwayne Wade and Steph Curry, who everybody around them, they're more important. The masses are more important than the one. He's got that kind of mentality. He's such a good teammate, man. What a fucking great teammate Saquon Barkley is. He is the quintessential teammate. Dude, you got him and Devontae Smith in that huddle. Those are great teammates. I mean, those are absolutely great teammates. No, hey, Brian, the reason I say Dwayne Wade is because you had that egomaniac, LeBron James, come down, and here was Dwayne. It's your team now, man. This is your team. You're going to lead us to the NBA title. Everyone knew it's Dwayne's team. Always will be, always was. It's Dwayne Wade. Steph Curry talking to KD. Hey, man, here's the guy that's the LeBron killer. Right here, KD, even though they didn't need him, really. They proved that after. He is a LeBron killer. It's KD's team. It was always Steph Curry's team. It was always Steph Curry's team. Get this. Look at a joker. Sills, Barkley coming for Emmitt Smith's all-time record. That is so fucking of an asinine comment. He's at 7,000 yards. Okay, Emmitt Smith, he needs 11,000 more rushing yards, and he's 28 to break that record. He needs 11,000 yards. Yeah, that ain't happening. That ain't happening. Okay, that ain't happening. Hey, James, Dan Quinn. I wonder what he said about sitting guys and shit. I can imagine what Dan Quinn, the kind of mentality that guy has. I'm going to give you my takeaways here, and we're going to do that. Give me a score. We always do this on a Football Friday. Give me a score what you see on Sunday. And I'm going to tell you, be careful what you're saying here. Okay? What do you think on Sunday against the Giants? How will this look? 32-3? 28-3? Giants 24-17? With Tanner, 34-18? Giants are going to win. Giants are going to win. M. Reyes, my boy. 52-3. Hey, I'll tell you one thing about M. Reyes, man. 52-3. Hey, M. Reyes, has that been a prediction by you every single week? 52-3. I'm starting to see that number from you on a Friday. And starting to think you probably throw that out there every week. Am I right when I say that? 52-3. Okay. Here's my takeaway. Guys, please hit the like button. We appreciate you guys. Angelo Cataldi will be with us. I can't wait to hear what he says about Howard Eskin. And I can't wait to hear what he says about how they came to this conclusion on not playing Saquon Barkley. All right. This game is going to look like an exhibition game. Here's my takeaways on what I think is going to happen on Sunday. This is going to look like an exhibition game for the Eagles. You're going to see sloppy football, bad football. You're going to see a lot of penalties and probably a lot of turnovers in this game. And if the weather has anything to do with it, you're going to see probably a lot of turnovers in this game. Okay, it's going to be just a ton of turnovers. It's hard to predict games like this because there's going to have a preseason feel to it. Now, the Eagles are going to be playing for development and player development. The Giants are going to be playing to save their jobs. So you're going to get a dynamic in here on Sunday that there's two philosophies. The Giants are there and players are going to be playing to save their gigs and to stay as New York Giants. And if the Giants want to figure out if they want to go forward with them, the Eagles have guys on their team. By the way, I would much rather be on the practice squad of the Philadelphia Eagles right now than a backup in New York. Okay? I'm almost pretty much guaranteed a job as a backup in Philadelphia. Okay, or a practice squad guy. As a backup in New York, I'm probably gone. So I have more job security. How about this? I have more job security on the practice squad in Philly than the backups in New York do. I mean, you're not keeping those guys up there. Why would you? You're going to try to reinvent the entire roster in the offseason. And if you got backups that don't play, why would I keep them? But if I'm Philadelphia and I've got Fred Johnson and I got other guys that I'm trying to develop, Trevor Keegan, guys on my practice squad, and I've won 13 games, those guys are coveted. The Giants want those players as backups. Do you understand? When you're a 13-win team and you're on a practice squad or you're a backup, your value increases. Just because you don't make the starting lineup in Philly, that doesn't necessarily mean you can't play in the league. That just means you can't play on one of the teams that's considered a favorite to win the Super Bowl. Is that a bad thing? I don't think that's a bad thing. Actually, I think that's a good thing. And everybody's agent's going, play great this weekend. Because if you show the Eagles even more, they're going to keep you longer. And then you're going to become a commodity to them and an asset. Hey, the two backup defensive tackles, Ojimo and the other kid. Who's the other kid they got? Okay, those two backup DTs. Dude, I'll tell you what, if I was an NFL football team, they're not expensive. They play with the Eagles. They've been contributors. Okay? I'd look at those guys and go, what's their status in the offseason? Booker. There you go. Right, Sydney? So Ojimo and Booker, in my opinion, if I was a team like Cincinnati or a team like Dallas that has to stop the run, I'm looking for quality players to fill my roster. I throw money at those guys. I don't have to throw a boatload of it. Why? Well, they're not going to play with Davis and Carter there. Do you understand what this weekend means to Booker and Ojimo? Those two guys get a chance to increase the value. Because you know what you're doing? You're putting tape. You're putting your game on tape. Every team's going to be watching this thing going like this. Look at these guys playing. By the way, I think Booker's had a hell of a year. For a backup, I like the two DTs the Eagles have. I mean, I like them. Remember something about the NFL today. Hey, half the league is undrafted players or low-drafted guys. Not everybody's a billionaire. You got to have guys like that on your team to fill out your 53-man roster and your practice squad. 70 guys make a team today. When I played, 47 made a team. There were no practice squads. 70 guys make a team. I was the last player cut 3 times. Now you're the last guy. Jesus criminy. I'd rather have been the first guy cut. It was terrible. I hated it. I mean, that's what this game means. Eagles are looking at guys like that. I'm telling you, those 2 defensive tackles here's somebody else. Fred Johnson. Fred Johnson, I believe, isn't he a free agent at the end of this year? So you got Fred Johnson as a free agent. You got these 2 defensive tackles. Who else? I want to see what Trotter looks like. Now, he's a drafted kid, so you got him a couple of years. Isaiah Rodgers. He's going to be a free agent. Happy birthday, big guy. Corona on me. Enjoy. Okay? Thank you. You've done a lot for us. And Jacob, thank you so much, Abe. That's a compliment. Thank you so much, and they've done for me, too, a lot. Becton, too. By the way, please, all Super Chats go to the top, and please hit the like button here. Says it's going to be a great game. Tanner's going to ball out. Yahan featured. Who knows? Jordan Davis might get 20 snaps. Go crazy, Nicky. Brian. Brian, go crazy. Okay? Right. So again here, man. By the way, Drew Lock beat you last year. So the greatness of Drew Lock's going. I don't know, man. What here? 24-21. It's home. I'll take the Eagles, I guess. I mean, I don't know. Giants might win. The Giants, if someone goes Sills, the Giants are going to win. I'd probably believe it. I don't know. This is really like if you ever listen to me in the preseason, you will never hear me bring up scores because when they don't matter, I don't bring them up. Okay? They don't matter when it comes to the one loss. So I don't really bring scores up in the preseason. This is kind of like how I feel about this thing. I'm going to be interested to see Tanner Manning, as my guy Pumper likes to call it. Okay, Tanner Manning. Okay, I mean, sure, 24-21 Eagles. It's home. If it was in the Meadowlands, I don't really know. I can't pick the Giants right now. You know why I can't pick the Giants? I can't get over the fact of how you look at yourselves in the mirror every day and how you got rid of Saquon Barkley and lied to his face and were so unbecoming of an organization that I grew up around. I can't believe that's the same fucking Giant organization. It's so unbelievably not the same place I remember when Wellington Mara, George Young, and A.D. Robustelli. I cannot believe that's the Giants. How the Giants are operating right now is unbelievable. It is so un-New York Giant. I grew up putting cones in the end zone. I cannot believe that's the same organization. I mean, it's run by the Three Stooges. John Mara, Joe Schoen, and Brian Dable. The Three Stooges. And then you listen to the Hard Knocks and how they just how could you lie? Here's my problem with the Giants. How can you lie to a guy like Saquon Barkley the way you did in that Hard Knocks and have any kind of respect for the players that are there and how you treated a guy whose leadership was obviously felt when he was no longer in the room? You lose a bit of integrity when you do that kind of shit. How do you walk into the locker room with any kind of integrity and how you dealt with Barkley, who looks like he's just filled with integrity and character? Happy birthday, Big Sills. Corona at the beach today. Thank you, brother. How do you do that? I mean, dude, you talk about unbecoming of an organization. The New York Giants do not resemble anything I remember. I can't believe that's them. Hey, by the way, did you see that little dig that he takes on John Mara? Saquon's got a new commercial. I hear people are having a tough time sleeping at night. Hilarious. Oh, you don't think he wants the record, right? This guy's doing commercials, taking shots and trolling John Mara. And you don't think he wants that record, right? He's trolling John Mara, but he don't want the record. Right, okay. Yeah, right. I mean, dude, it was brilliant. The whole commercial, I'm like, that is absolute. Dude, I'm sure I know John Mara very well. And I guarantee you somebody showed that shit to him. Please hit the like button. So I don't know, 24-21. Okay, Eagles at home. It's the reserves. I will be looking to see, watching some of the younger guys, man. You should play Nolan Smith. You should play Jordan Davis. You should play the two backups a lot at DT. Dude, they should play Bryce Huff a ton in this game. What are you saving him for? What are you saving Bryce Huff for? He sucked all year. Throw him out there. At least try to get some of your $18 million back. Throw his ass out there. Shit, I'd rather give less reps to Nolan Smith and more reps to Jalen Hunt and Bryce Huff to get them ready for the playoffs. And for me, I might throw more reps at Jalen Hunt. Get him more reps. Get Trotter some reps. Put Keely Ringo in. Okay? Is Sidney Brown out of concussion? Because if he is, play his ass. Put Isaiah out there. Okay? Maybe put Quinion out there. Get him an interception. Guy needs one. If he wants to, by the way, he's not winning the Rookie of the Year award defensively. He's just not. It's not going to happen. He's too far behind Jared Verse now. Verse made the Pro Bowl. Happy birthday, Big Sills. Just wanted to thank you again for the kind words last year when my mother passed. You, my brother. It means a lot. Holly, all good, brother. All good, man. Hey, nothing like losing somebody like that. The only thing that leaves you is the tears. Heartache will always be there. Okay? Always put out there. Always. Hey, my pop died and my grandpa died years ago. The only thing that hasn't happened is the tears anymore. I miss them every day. Okay? So I feel you, Hollywood. All good, man. Here's the 2025. Having a great year here, man. So here, 24-21, Eagles. They win their 14th game. And hey, I'll tell you this about the NFC playoffs. Holy shit, you're going to have a 2 seed with 14 wins, and you're going to have a 5 seed with 14 wins. That's unbelievable. I don't know if I've ever seen that. I'm not sure in the playoff format that they have right now in the NFL, if I've ever seen one conference have that many 14-win plus teams. Well, let's this weekend, Detroit and Minnesota are both 14 wins, right? Okay. One of them is going to lose. So one team's 15, they're going to have the number 1 overall seed. Okay. The loser of that will be 14-3, right? He's in the 5 hole. And then you got the Eagles. If they win this game, they're 14 wins. They'll be 14-3 in the 2 hole. Holy shit. Somebody's going home with a big record. Do we not agree? How crazy would this be if all 3 teams with 14 wins or more ended up being sent home and Green Bay goes on to the Super Bowl and it's one of those other teams that goes on and plays Kansas City or Baltimore? I mean, 2 teams with big records are going home. Okay? All right? Going home. Hit the like button, guys. We appreciate you guys. Angelo Cataldi will join us at 3:30 Eastern time. So, Anthony, was that you that brought up topic number 2? Let's just check this off here. Topic number 2. How concerned are you now with Jalen Hurts? And at the airing of the show, We have not been told that he's out of concussion protocol. And we'll talk about what Nick said today. And I think Nick handled that right. When asked the question about Jalen's status, would he have been able to come out of protocol even if he was going to play? The Eagles, is that a choice? By the way, I don't know this, so I'm not for certain how this is handled. Can you keep a guy in concussion protocol? Can you keep him in there? And is it a neurologist that clears him? I'm assuming the neurologist clears him and not the team. But remember, the neurologist is hired by the team and the league. I've always thought that that was a bit of a conflict of interest. Okay? So, and I think that's why you get, like John says, that crazy medicine that in some places you see Josh Allen get cleared right there on the sidelines by a neurologist. Now, is that guy hired by the Bills? Yeah, he's good. Go ahead. And then you got the Eagles going, no. We're going to keep him here for 2 weeks now in the protocol. Okay. What's the parameters and what's the metrics and how you're keeping him in there? I mean, okay, is it more significant? Obviously. Do we not agree? Or is it gamesmanship? I don't believe you could play gamesmanship with someone's brain, can you? I think that would be a violation of the NFL Players Association, CBA, with the league. You're going to keep a guy in a concussion protocol and he's not hurt? I mean, I would find that hard to believe. So Hurts' injury has to be significant. Or get this, the concussion protocol is a lie. Am I right? Either he's hurt or he's not, and he's hurt significantly because this is 2 weeks now. Either that or they're lying, which means what? The protocol's full of shit. And I'm assuming that the protocol for concussions, since the league is in courts and in the courtroom for concussions and CTE, I'm assuming that that's not a reality. So believe it or not, I'm going to give the NFL the benefit of the doubt here because they don't want to be in a courtroom and they don't want to discuss CTE. Okay, so we have to come to the conclusion Hurts is hurt. Okay? Get this. Here's Mr. International. You're going to bend the rules with a neurologist? That doesn't even sound remotely ethical. That doesn't even sound ethical. You're telling me that you're going to bend the rules with a neurologist. Well, then I don't believe the protocol. Okay? Yeah, no. Mr. National, okay, right. I don't believe you can bend the rules. Okay, I mean, you can't. So Hurts is hurt. Anthony, do you agree with that? Hurts is hurt. Okay? Right? Do you agree? Because Pumper, do we not agree that Jalen Hurts has to be injured? Anthony goes, I agree. I do agree with you, Anthony. Bishop, Maniac, how many people think it's severe? I'm starting to think it's severe. Dude, this is not like holding a guy on IR and opening up his practice window and you get 2 weeks to sit there and determine whether or not this guy's going to clear and he's able to play before you put him back on IR. This isn't like, this is neurology. This is a neurologist that looks at your brain. By the way, look at this. What's wrong with him, Dr. Sills? I don't fucking know. I'm going by the protocol. Okay, get this. Here, it's a great question. Leon goes, Sills, how does Tua get cleared? There's a team neurologist, and then you go and get your own second opinion. And the league and the team come to a conclusion and an agreement on when the guy can be cleared. Dude, I would never trust a team's doctor to give me any kind of diagnosis. Hey, James Jones, are you in here? That's Trent Williams. I'm not taking the word of a guy paid by the owner. Why the hell would I ever do that? Rush me back? What, it could be Carson Wentz? Why in the world would I do shit like that? Why would I trust a doctor paid by the league and the owner? And to determine whether or not my concussion is severe or not. Okay, it's already helter-skelter medicine. I'm going to put that decision in the hands of people who can't make good decisions anyway, the Eagles? No way. No, thank you. Remember, those guys are paying you $50 million. Okay? He wants you on the field. You think he wants you sitting on the side eating ice? Football players want to play, of course. NFL, every team, a team hires their own neurologist. Okay? You have spotters from the NFL that are in the booth. And the spotter will take that guy off the field, and that local team's neurologist will put you in the tent, and he'll come to the conclusion on what is going to happen next. The spotters are the NFL spotters. They're not hired by the Eagles. Those are league spotters on concussions. Like when Jalen Hurts was taken off the field, they went down into the referee's ear and said, get him out of there. They didn't call the Eagles and tell them. They told the refs. Again, this is significant because it goes into the next question. Are you concerned about Hurts being hurt and having all this time off before he plays next week? Most likely Green Bay or Washington, depending on what happens this week. I don't know if I want to see Green Bay. Okay? Is anybody concerned about rust for Jalen Hurts? Any rust? Anthony says I am. By the way, we are going to do our year-end awards for the Eagles. And I'll explain when we get to that. Okay? Guys, do me a favor. We're almost at the top of the hour. Please give me a total on where we are with our likes. Supers go to the top. Please hit that like button. By the way, I found out last week from Xander that half of you have not subscribed. It doesn't cost you anything. All you got to do is click. And we'd appreciate that. Thank you guys so much. Sills, I'm just glad we are not playing Tampa. Hey, or on turf. If Jalen is hurt, you're going to be playing at home on grass and not on AstroTurf, like up in New York or someplace like that. 119, not awful. Guys, do me a favor. Please hit that like button. Thank you, guys. You know, here you guys keep bringing this up with Alexander out for the season toward PCL. Give me Green Bay. They haven't had him all year, pretty much. That's not a factor. Happy birthday to you, Sicilian Sentinel. Big Sills, how you doing? Thank you so much, King. I appreciate that. Guys, hit that like button here. Here's why I'm not worried about Jalen Hurts and rust. And I'll tell you why, Anthony. And you guys tell me if you agree or disagree with me on this. They really haven't been relying on the pass game whatsoever. It's not like they have rhythm. It's not like they're a rhythm-throwing passing team. It's not like they need multiple reps like they do with Peyton Manning and Reggie Wayne and Marvin Harrison. This isn't a timing offense. It's really not a finesse offense. Maybe if we were a year ago, you'd be more concerned because they threw the ball more. But this year, it has been more cookie cutter. It's been run the ball or throw the ball. And could he be late on throws because he's not really a great passer anyway? Yeah, probably. That's why you're going to rely mostly on the run game like you have all year. And here comes the issue. You haven't been very good in the pass game at all this year. And if they stop the run, whoever that is, Washington or Green Bay, if they stop the run, is Jalen Hurts being off 3 weeks? Is that going to be enough time next week to get him his reps, to get him back in some type of rhythm with his wide receivers? Okay? Do you think? Again, if they threw the ball 600 or 650 times, I'd be concerned with that. How many reps this year has Jalen Hurts thrown the ball? It's got to be one of the lower numbers. Happy birthday, big dog. Khalid, thank you so much. How many attempts has he had? I don't think it's many. 425, 450, maybe tops, the 435. That's nothing in a 17-game season. Take a look at some of the other prolific passers that have thrown this year. They throw like 650 attempts. That's a different conversation. Conspiracy. Hurts wore different cleats and got fined. He does it the very next week and gets taken out. He was fined. He tried to come back out. Are you saying the cleats? Oh, man, he got face planted. Okay? Jalen Hurts has 361 attempts. That's not a rhythm passer. Okay? Eric, I don't think it has anything to do with the cleats. Okay? Get this. Look at this guy. Jalen is definitely a rhythm passer. He threw the ball for 361 attempts. Let me take a look at that for a second here. I want to show you how crazy Roland thinks that a guy with 2,900 passing yards is a rhythm passer and overthrows and can't find people on a daily basis in games and misses throws every single weekend. And he thinks he's a rhythm passer. Let's see where Jalen Hurts ranks when it comes to attempts this year and passing. Okay, let's go down the list here. Hurts is 21st in attempts. Let's see what he is in completions. Hurts is 21st in completions. Rhythm? He's 20. Wait a minute. So wait, let me write that down. He's 21st in attempts, 21st in completions. Hey, Bumper, are you ready for this one? Let me see what the next one is. You see passing yards, where he is at that. He's 20th. Passing yards. How about TDs? He's 18th. Wait, hey, Pump, you ready? Roland says this guy's a rhythm passer. He's 21st in attempts. He's 21st in completions. He's 20th in passing yards, and he's 18th in TDs. What? That's some rhythm. Holy shit. That's a rhythm passer, all right. He's a rhythm passer. Hey, man, that guy is far from a rhythm passer. So, hey, to be fair, though, I don't think it's going to matter. Okay? Okay? Get this. Who lied? Lewis, who lied? Highest QBR of his career. Yeah, when you throw the ball 14 times a game and they're all slants. I get it. Martinez, what did we lie about? Hurts is 7th. Get this. This guy is telling me that I'm lying and I got the numbers right in front of me. Passing attempts. Jalen Hurts is 21st. Passing completions. Jalen Hurts is 21st. Passing yards. Jalen Hurts is 20th. Sacks taken. Jalen Hurts is 10th. TDs. Jalen Hurts is 18th. Ain't no lying. Facts. You guys don't want, hey, see this guy here? He don't want to hear it. Don't tell everybody those numbers, Sills. He's 7th in QBR. Well, here, let's take the famous Marcus's QBR and take a look at this. Let's see who's ranked ahead of Jalen Hurts in QBR. Kyler Murray, Brock Purdy are ranked ahead of him in QBR. How about his rating? Let's see where Hurts is ranked. Let's see, Jalen got a good ranking. Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold. How you doing right ahead of him? Hey, Marcus, what's up? Oh, man, it's too good. How you doing? Okay. But again, you don't really need it because this guy's not a passer anyway. Okay? I mean, they need his wheels. Now, listen, are you going to run him after coming out of concussion protocol? There. Sales, he's a rhythm passer, not a volume passer. Let me see what else he says. Volume passer is what I think you're looking for. It's not stupid. Like Marcus. That's not, get this. 7th in completions. I just read it to you. I'm not talking, I didn't say completion percentage. I didn't say that. I'm talking about completions, period. He's 21st. Dude, your quarterback has the worst numbers of any contender. Let me see here. Let's take a look at the NFC quarterbacks. Does Jalen have the worst numbers of any quarterback that's in the NFL right now that will play in the postseason? Jared Goff. Don't go there. Baker Mayfield. Don't go there. Sam Darnold. Don't go there. Let's see. Matthew Stafford. Don't go there. Let's see. Jaden Daniels. Don't go there. Holy cow. That's it, Marcus. Keep the fight up, my friend. Keep the fight up. This guy's got one metric he's hanging on with dear life. And a guy who can't throw for $3,000. Shit, I used to have a higher expectation for Hurts. I used to say $4,000. But it's been 4 years, so now we know he'll never throw for it. Jalen Hurts will never throw for 4,000 yards in his career. He's 5 years in. I mean, fuck, we got kind of know what's up now, right? 7th in passing. He's not 7th in passing. This guy's, dude, 7th in passing with 2,900 yards. In today's NFL, that's like, you know who had 2,900 yards in the NFL? Bob Greasy in 1973. Jalen slides down more in the pocket than anyone on the field. He's got it backwards. Khalid, still at the end of the day, if he brings us a Super Bowl, who cares? That is the true comment. Khalid, you'll be able to come back in February and go, you know, Stills, all that shit you said, did it matter? They won. I don't think you're winning, but you're right. He missed 3 games, idiot. Well, let's take a look at that. Let's take a look at that here. Okay. He missed 3 games. He missed 3 games. Why? Because he was stupid and he didn't know how to slide. He missed 3 games. Well, that's on Jalen Hurts. Let's take a look at that number here, too. On guys who miss games. 2 weeks protocol. Yes, he's hurt. Oh, watch this. Let's take a look at the quarterbacks that are going to play in the postseason, how many games they played. Let's see. Jared Goff, 16. Baker Mayfield, 16. Sam Darnold, 16. Heading into the final week. Matthew Stafford, 16. I'm just looking at the playoff guys. Jaden Daniels, 16. Yeah. Jordan Love, 14. He got hurt in that Eagle game, actually. So wait a minute. This guy played 14 games and has better numbers than Hurts. Jordan Love. How you doing? Wasn't a dirty hit. Was a great hit. Totally legal. Okay. He really came in the chat to tell us he's going over to hey, Flexing gets the game. Flexing gets the game. Look at you, Flexing. By the way, Flexing could agree, but mostly he doesn't. Okay, and here's Sue. Stat Sills. I got you, Sue. Hey, Sue, you got me? I got you. Stat Sills. Come on, Sue. Come on, Sue. Stat Sills. Yeah, man, come on, Red Bottom. Yeah. Come on, Red Bottom. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, only Sue and everyone who's in here knows what it's about. Right, Red Bottom Sue? Look at it. Stats happy. Birthday grumpy. Grumpy. I'm not grumpy. I had a white shirt on today. You want to know what a diva I am? You know why I was a little bit Sileo time? So Xander was going to start the show, right? And I go, I don't like this shirt. You know, I don't, white's not for me here. You know, I need something different. I was acting very AJ Brownish. Yeah, you know, white, I don't know about white on sills, you know. I'm more of a colored guy. I think that's okay to say. I'm Italian, so I guess we're okay, right? We're good, right? Okay, good. All right. So no, I'm not worried about Hurts. I'm not worried. I'm not worried about Jalen Hurts and his rhythm. Okay. I'm not worried about him and his rhythm. Not at all, man. So, no, that's out. By the way, our friend Angelo Cataldi will join us. That'll be at the bottom of the hour. I can't wait to hear the new ripping that's going in on Nick. That'll be at the bottom by the legendary Angelo Cataldi. All right. So, Nick spoke. And I want to do this before Angelo comes on. By the way, guys, give me a total on the likes. All supers go to the top. Okay? You guys are great here on this Football Friday. Don't forget Philly Godfather, too. He's going to be with us at 5:30 Eastern time. And Xander will be with us at 4:30. 157. Not awful, man. Hit that like button, guys. So, Nicky Sirianni, professional bullshit artist, spoke to the media. And not one person asked this question. Hey, did you see that Saquon was disappointed that he's not going to be able to go for the record? Nobody asked him that. Isn't that the story of the week? How come nobody asked the question? Xander, does John ever tell you how many people are in that scrum when Nick speaks? What, about 20? What, about 20 guys? Nobody asked the question. My first question would have been, Coach, in light of what you're hearing, and you hear Barkley disappointment, like, are you steadfast in your decision that you're not going to let him go for the record? I mean, you asked about the Jalen Hurts protocol shit 3 times. Why couldn't you ask that? And Nick got a little surly on that, which is great. About time he started acting like that. Oh, nobody wanted to start shit. You mean nobody wanted to do their job? Okay? You mean nobody wanted to do their job? And just, hey, well, you see there's some backlash. Okay. Hurts still in the protocol. He answered it 3 times, and he answered it correctly. Guys, I got nothing else on it. It's about time he stood up for himself. It's one of the very few times that he's been, as a head coach, stood up for himself. Guys, I don't have anything else. I mean, I don't know what else to tell you. You need to be more of a dick, Nick. You know what Nick needs to be more of? He needs to be more of a dick to the media and not screaming at fans. Take that same energy that you're an asshole to the fans with and be more of an asshole to the media. They're not your friends, Nick. The fans are. They want you to win. I'll tell you this. The fans are more your friends than the media are. He don't get that. Okay? At the end of the day, the fans revere winners. The media doesn't care about winners. Look at the shit that Belichick went through with the Boston media, with guys like Shaughnessy, Dan Shaughnessy, and all them guys up there who are complete assholes. They won 6 Super Bowls. They gave the guy shit every day. When you're replacing Brady, hey, the decision on deflate gates, all that stupid shit that didn't matter to anything. They killed the guy who won 300 football games for him up there. You're like, wait a minute, I'm missing this. The fans revere him and love him. The fans are your friends. They're more your friends. Because you know why? In Philly, you win, they're going to revere you. You lose, they're going to revile you. There's no way around it. The fans do the right thing when you got a fan base like Philadelphia or Buffalo or Pittsburgh or San Francisco. Believe it or not, San Francisco's got great fans. That's a great fan base. It's a great fan base. Bears used to. You know what the Bears are today? The Bears are like Flyer fans. They've given up. They've just given up. Fuck them. You don't want to build it? I'm done with you. That's what's happened in Chicago with the Bears and their fans. That's what's happened in Philadelphia with the Flyers. You just look at them and go like this. I'm done. It's the only team in the city that had a dynasty. That dynasty is as old as the Roman Empire now. People Xander's age have never experienced successful hockey. Oh, wait. They're kind of like real good, but not champions. Kind of used to that in a way right now. Right? 2 rings is a dynasty. In Philly, it is. There's no other team that has done that. They did it back to back, too. What other team has won multiple championships like that? Let me guess. The 67 Sixers and the 83 Sixers? You really going to go there? They were 2 completely different teams. That was Wilt's team and Chet Walker's team. And the 83 team was Malone and Dr. J. Completely different units. Not the same team. Teams that won it with the Flyers, they were the same group of dudes. Same group of dudes. Philly's never had one. I'm just saying. I mean, that's what happens to fan bases. They just do this. Fuck it. I'm out. Okay? Look at Twiz. I love my 1 Super Bowl. I'll bet you do, dude. Nothing wrong with that. But again, that's not a championship mentality. I don't want 1 championship. I want to be a dynasty. I strive to be a dynasty, win multiple championships. See? Twiz is happy with his 1. Okay. Not me. Here in Sydney, pub talk. Where you live, have a beer at a local and talk real football. Talk Sills and narrative. Thank you. I love that. So are you watching us in a bar in Sydney right now? Way to go, man. Sydney family. So you're having a Foster Lager. I actually like Foster Lager and Carlsbad. Them beers that get you hammered, man. They ain't like those American piss things like you got there with. And by the way, just for the record here, hey, Twiz, I hear you like Bud Light. I don't know why. Hey, I hear you like Bud Light. And I'm not sure why you like Bud Light, but I'm just, I don't know. I heard you like drinking Bud Lights, and a couple other guys in here like drinking in Bud Lights, like M. Reyes. I don't know what it is, man. Someone just gave me an insight that you guys drink that Bud Light stuff. And I don't know, man. Bud Light, I'm just not. Hey, that Bud Light's not going to be in my refrigerator. I don't know. I don't know why. I got to throw that out there. Bud Light. I don't. Maybe Sue drinks that. Maybe Sue drinks that Bud Light. No, you know what I think Sue is? Sue, tell me I'm wrong here, man. Sue drinks a nice beer, and then she's got a tequila shot. Bam! She does shots and chasers. And she's like that Marion Ravenwood on Indiana Jones. You drink your ass under the table, Twiz. You better be careful. You'll wake up and your pants are down by your ankles, and you got some kid playing with your feet. Woo! Oh, man. Hit that damn like button. How you doing? Angelo Cataldi will be at the bottom of the hour. Oh, good. Here. So you're going into battle this week with Tanner Manning and Ian Buck. Hey, by the way, real quick, congratulations, Marcus Freeman of Notre Dame. That's Xander's team to go all the way and win it. Who would have thought he'd have been an upgrade over Brian Kelly? Brian Kelly's back home pretending to be a guy who's a Cajun guy. Hey, how you doing, everybody? Guys from New Hampshire. How you doing, everybody? This guy's like Kamala Harris. How you doing? They got the fake, phony-ass accents. How you doing, everybody? And you're like, you're from New Hampshire. Okay? From New Hampshire. He's down there, hey, I'd like to have you come and go to LSU. Yeah. I like to have come and LSU. And Marcus Freeman, who just got a contract extension at Notre Dame, is one of the Final Four teams now to play for the national title. Good for you, man. Okay? Good for you. I said Notre Dame would never win a national title. Maybe they do. It would be incredible if they're able to do this. Okay? Incredible. I'll tell you this. You got Penn State in it, too. You got Texas in it. Somebody's going to win their very first national championship. Okay? Hey, or Sue probably maybe likes that drink, that DeMarcus Russell drink, that drink. Little NyQuil, little gummy bear. How you doing? Yeah. Get Anthony's on, please, Sills. Yeah. OSU. Okay. Angelo's going to join us in a couple minutes here. Let's see here now. What else did he say? I will do this, and I will give the Eagles massive credit for this. He said something today that is really cool that they do, that I really love. They try to find every single week practice time with meaningful reps for the practice squad guys and the second team guys. That's player development. That's good shit. That's good stuff. Here's why. If you have to bring a guy up from the practice roster, they look at that practice roster and it's a viable piece to their success. Where most teams probably just put dudes there and stack dudes there and don't give a shit about them. The Eagles care about that team because they're going to know, and they know during the year, that that's going to be the pool of players that they're going to try to develop in case of catastrophic injuries. And I think they might do the best job of any team in the league at developing that squad. I mean, their drop-off. How many times did we say this year with that old line? There's just no drop-off, man. Now, you see it if it goes consecutive weeks. But when you put a guy in there and the Eagles have to drop a guy in, look at Oren Burks. They put Oren Burks in there, and he wasn't great, but it wasn't catastrophic like it was the year previous. Especially when you have a guy like Vic Fangio. They get these guys reps. I can't tell you how important that is to the success of a football team when we always talk about the war of attrition. That's damn good, and it doesn't get reported on enough. They value practice time and evaluation time with that practice squad. That practice squad is clearly an extension of the Eagles. Do I think that that's the case in Dallas? No way. No way. Do I think that's the case in Kansas City? I do. And he talked about that today, how he stockpiles the practice squad. And we try to do every single thing we possibly can within reason to get those guys meaningful reps. That's player development. That's the first time I really heard that and how much they value that practice squad. That's not a practice squad. That's part of the Eagle squad. They look at that as a viable part of the whole piece and the whole puzzle in this thing and how to win a Super Bowl. It's pretty good. It's kudos to the organization for that. That's another thing they do great. I mean, that's a big-time deal. Like Jeff Stoutland, every single guy that's on the active roster gets meaningful reps, whether you're the first, second, or third team guy. You know how many places don't do that? 90% of them don't do that. That 90% don't do that. Okay? So that's great. He talked about Barkley and his leadership. I'll tell you the most impressive thing about Saquon Barkley this year has been how talented I didn't know he was. You know, people post stuff in here all the time about me. This prediction, I didn't know Saquon Barkley was this good. I saw him in New York. I never thought he was that good. I thought he was a good player. I didn't think he was an exceptional player. And I watched Giant football a lot. Like I said, I know people in the organization 35 years. I thought he underachieved. He gets here around great players. He's a fabulous player. He does everything right. Now, does he miss some blocks? Yes. Does he drop some passes? Yes. But is he a star? Absolutely. He is a superstar. Just a great football player. Guys, please hit the like button. Okay? Yeah. And he said something today, too, that I think how many people believe that Vic Fangio has been, and I'll ask you this again, I've asked you it before. How many people believe that Vic Fangio has been an influence on Nick Sirianni this year? How many people believe that? that like Vic has been a calming guy. Okay? There's no question he's been an influence on Sirianni, Vic Fangio. You know why? That's a guy who makes decisions. And come hell or high water, this guy's not looking for your endorsement on whether you believe he's right or wrong. See, here's a guy that makes a decision, and he makes a decision. You know what it is? It's his decision. You know why Vic Fangio has been in the league so long and doesn't have a Super Bowl ring as a coordinator? And why because you know why? That guy is like John Tortorella. He's going to wear your ass out. I worked with John. I love John Tortorella. I'll tell you what, he ain't for everybody. But John Tortorella is perfect for Philly. You know why? He will look at a media guy and go like this to you. You have no idea what you're talking about with Blue Line. You have no idea. What did you take Ivy Bullen out in the second round of the playoffs when you were with Tampa? What are you, a coach? That's the kind of shit Tortorella's going to fire back at you. What would you know? Okay, I mean, hey, listen, before I bring Angelo on, I want to set this up. The debate on whether or not to sit Barkley for the record or not, that's not my, you can really see both sides of it. Here's my problem. You see Dan Quinn play on Monday night. They had nothing to play for. Nothing. And he had a meaningful game like he does on Sunday on a short work week. You know what he did? He looked at his players and said, we got unfinished business with San Francisco. We have unfinished business. They beat us in the NFC title game. I want their ass. And what if someone gets hurt? Well, I mean, hey, it's called football. That guy's mentality has a winner's mentality, and I'll tell you why. You know what a winner's mentality is? If you don't want to pay a price for being great, and you don't want to pay that extra price for greatness, greatness comes with risk. It comes with risk. You know why that 17 team could wipe the floor with this 24 team and that 22 team? They had balls. Lose your MVP, lose Jason Peters, lose a linebacker. You know what they said? I don't care. We're going to go win it. And they didn't beat Tom Coughlin and Eli. They beat Belichick and Brady with that mentality. This is more of a philosophical way. I look at Jeffrey Lurie and Howie Roseman. You know what I say about them? They don't have a championships mentality. They can win a lot of games. They won't do that last bit of risk. Guy who risked over 40 years. And I think he had an FU mentality to people too. And this is why I think I love him. Absolutely. Make sure you check out his great blog because Angelo, he says he's slowed down. I don't know, man. I see a lot of the old Inquirer in him, in his blog, okay? Let's bring on Angelo Cataldi here. Hope you had a great new year, Angelo. Let's bring on Angelo Cataldi now if we can. And everything. I appreciate you so much, Angelo. I hope you had a great holiday.
I sure did. It was my 25th wedding anniversary.
Wow.
I think I'm getting my wife, instead of a ring or something silver, I'm just getting a trophy for surviving 25 years with the crap I've thrown around here. It's unbelievable. God bless that woman. But yeah, I had a great holiday, although I must say that this whole Saquon situation this week has frustrated the heck out of me. It's two stories. One is the wimpiness of the upper brass of the Philadelphia Eagles not letting history happen. And the second thing is the reaction in this city, the media, and a lot of the fans now, Dan, who are embracing safety over legacy. And it's just so frustrating to me. I went yesterday. I went to a rehearsal. I was one of the panelists for a rehearsal for the new Jason Kelce ESPN late night show. And it was Kelce there, and it was Todd Herremans, and it was Ike Reese. Who doesn't belong there? Me. They were all football players. I was just there because I taught. And the thing is, there was full agreement that they should play the players on Sunday. And at one point I went, we were talking about Dan Campbell of the Lions, and He was playing for nothing last Sunday. The big game is this Sunday. He should have rested all his players if you use this mentality, and he played all the players. And it was like, and I said, if Dan Campbell were the head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles, he would be a god in this city. And there was a huge, you should have heard the reaction, all the people cheering. And it's like, no, not everybody is a wimp in Philadelphia anymore. They understand. You said it. With risk, that to be great, you need to take risk. And if he got hurt, he got hurt. Go on without him. Next man up. Then we always told that. That's how it's done here. I'm just frustrated beyond words. Even in retirement, Dan, at the biggest bunch of pussies in this city now, compared to even 10 years ago. Even 10 years ago, before there was load management, before there were pitch counts and all the bull crap that's going on in this town. And if Philadelphia is embracing a wimpy approach, there's no hope for the rest of the country.
I got to tell you this too, Angelo, that this bugs me a lot about another part of this thing here. You know, when I hear Nick come back and that bullshit that he said where he asked the players and he asked the parking lot attendant, the Slurpee machine guy, and then he goes and talks to his father, and then he starts bringing Mr. Laurie. I mean, I was told my grandpa raised me, my Italian grandfather raised me. When you talk to another man, you talk to him like a man. You don't talk to him like he's your father. And to me, that sets a tone where you're a subservient guy talking to your owner instead of saying this, well, I'm going to do what's best for my team. Okay? The owner told the head coach what's best for his team. Exactly. Instead of sticking up, I now know that guy does not stick up for anything. And Angelo, if you don't stick up for things, you'll fall for everything.
But
and that's what
yes
that
man.
is.
Yes men don't stand for anything. They just stand for survival in their job, Dan. Dan, the thing was, and you're 100% right, whether you're saying it as speculation or saying it as fact, Jeff Lurie made this decision.
Oh, yeah.
No one else. Jeff Lurie made it. And the minute he said, we're going to rest these guys so they're ready for the playoffs, there was like dominoes. Howie Roseman, yeah, you're right, boss. And then here comes Sirianni. Absolutely. And you're right. All right. If you're going to do that, that's fine.
Right.
Don't perpetrate this fraud that you're doing. You're canvassing everybody in the organization on what to do. You canvass one person, the owner. That's all this other stuff. They weren't asking anything. And if they were, it didn't matter. There was only one vote that mattered, was Lurie. And it demonstrates Lurie's lack of connection, both to the embodiment of his fan base and to the very psychology of what we are in a blue-collar town like Philadelphia. We don't take days off. We don't load manage or pitch count. We go out there and play. It's called a player, not a sitter. And you're on the brink of what Jason Kelce said yesterday. He said, let me tell you, as a lineman, there are lots of great records. But to me personally, this is Jason Kelce talking, there's no greater tribute to an offensive line than to have the all-time leading single-season rusher. Said that is the number one achievement, not just of Barkley, but of those guys in front of him. And they denied all that. They denied all that in a fear that somehow Barkley would get injured Sunday and getting 101 yards. It's just, that's why he did the 2,000 yards last Sunday. Yep. He was willing to risk that to get to that milestone and go, well, that's enough. Once he got to 2,000, got Barkley out of the game, and then he plays this game for the next week. I wrote on Monday before anything was decided, I said, there's not a damn chance in hell that Barkley's going to be playing on next Sunday. There's not a chance. They're not going to do it. And it's not even Sirianni. It's the owner.
Let me say this to you, Angelo. What I don't like also is, so you got an owner telling me what I should be accepting and what's for me, that the 2,000 rushing club is good enough for you. And yet you're telling me and trying to say to me that I can't make my footprint in history. Barkley even came out and said that he's down over it, that he's not going to have the opportunity to do it. But Angelo, here's what I had a problem with. So then all of a sudden, you tell me if I'm wrong here on this, because you know this man way longer than me. I had a problem with Lane Johnson going and being a company guy and getting the walking orders and the talking points from Bob Lang, where on Sunday in Mulata and all those guys were wanting to go for the record. Then all of a sudden, Bob comes in with his half-mask outfit, and he does all of his Philadelphia media. I'll tell you what, they have cleaned the Philadelphia media up so much, I don't even they don't resemble themselves any longer.
It's awful. It's awful. You're 100% right. What bothers me the most is this. This is at the very root of the dishonesty of the Philadelphia Eagles organization, all right? The owner made a decision. He's not the only owner who does that. Owners sometimes wield their financial heft. They do it. Why can't you be honest?
Right.
We'll never be told. There will never, when Lurie deigns to speak publicly again, God knows when, he will say it was all Nick's decision. He doesn't get involved. It's all bullshit. We all know it is. He doesn't have enough respect for the fan base to at least acknowledge, I'm the one that pays the bills. I'm the billionaire. I decided I wanted to make sure everybody was healthy for the playoffs. It was my decision. Would there be any crime in being honest?
No.
Well, why do they have to put on this charade every year that Sirianni has power that he doesn't have?
Because they're not honest people.
Yes, exactly. And they don't respect the fans. See, the fans, even though they've got a lot of fans now, so a lot of fans are in favor of this. Good, I respect that. You have every right to feel if all that matters is winning the Super Bowl. Great, that's fine. But don't lie about it. Just be honest about it. Can you at least be respectful of these people that have made you a billionaire? You have to lie? Why?
I'm with you on this here. We had a guy bring a point up yesterday on our program, and I loved it too. My guy Philly brought this up, and I'm going to ask you, Angelo. He said that he believed, and I kind of bought into it. I think they're synonymous with one another, the record and the Super Bowl. I think they're tied in together, because if you're going to have a mentality where you're going to go for that record, and then Angelo, if you're going to go for the record, then if you can't get the record, how are you going to go for the Super Bowl championship? They're all tough things. They're not going to be handed to you. So to me, don't you do a little bit of a disservice to the attitude and the mentality that it's going to take to win that Super Bowl by being safe and not going for this?
I am not going to make any more predictions because of my preseason prediction, which was a catastrophe. But let me just say, if you want to reverse the karma on a 13-3 season, I can't think of a faster way to do it than to basically deny that team a chance to make history. Look, Dan, what are the odds that he would get hurt? 1 in 20? Right. I mean, he just played 16 games. I didn't even see him get dinged the whole year. But now we got to worry because it's 17th game. Why can't you do both? Why can't you set the all-time record? Put your team in an amazing psychological advantage going into the first playoff game the following week. Why do you have to remove that? Now you're not. Hurts isn't going to have played for a month, right? Yeah. Barkley a couple of weeks. All these other guys a couple of weeks. And you know what, Dan? I'm not predicting it, but it won't shock me if they're one and done. It won't shock me. Because they have set that into motion with this wimpy decision.
Absolutely here. And here, Angelo, help me out on the history of this. The most accomplished team in Philadelphia Eagle history in the Super Bowl era, not the 60 team, but the 17 team is the most accomplished team. Would you agree that the most remembered team, the most memorable team, the team that's talked about? Hell, I turn on television sets and I see 99 and 92 jerseys and 12 jerseys all the time in those stands is not gangrene. And the reason that was memorable is because of the style of play, how they played, how those players' personalities were, what they fought for. So when you have something like a 2105 in front of you, and by the way, I was in the league at the time, that is one of the most revered records there is for an O-line coach. The defense feels part of it by getting the 3 and outs, so the offense can get the carries for the run. It's a whole team award there that you're talking about accomplishing something very few teams have ever been in a position to do. Don't you want to be a memorable team in Eagle history?
2017 is the greatest Eagle team of all time because it's the only one who won a Super Bowl. It's harder to win a championship now than even the 60 team or the teams in the 40s that won it. So, yeah, the Eagles of 2017 are the most accomplished team in our lifetime. Furthermore, they did it by being bold and fearless. They made decisions. This is Doug Peterson, his second year, going for it on 4th down in spots nobody was doing it because he believed in his team and himself. Gadget play against the greatest coach of all time in the Super Bowl before the half. They did things that were gutsy, that were bold, and they won it all because they got behind a backup quarterback who refused to lose. Nick Foles playing the greatest football of his life. That is great. That is the true essence of greatness. Being willing to take the tough risks in the big moments. If they had signed up, if they in 2017, just picture this. Foles is coming to the sideline and he goes to Doug Peterson, Philly. And Peterson goes, hold on, let me call up to the owner's box and see if Jeff Lurie wants us to try a gadget play in this moment. Jeff, no, just run into the line. Okay. So Jeff wouldn't have signed off on any of that stuff because he is a wimp. And he's just proven it with this decision. And Dan, I don't want it to happen because I want the Eagles to have a parade this year. But I have a bad feeling that this is going to change what happens the following week. I really believe that. And I hope I'm wrong. God knows I was totally wrong at the beginning of the year. But I hate that they made this decision. And I hate that there wasn't a massive backlash in the city from the media and the fans saying, no, this is Philly. We don't do that. Go out there and set the record.
Angelo, tell me, I listened to Nick today, and let me ask you something. How many people are in those scrums that are in front of Nick usually? About 20 people that are usually in front of him. Now, one person had the balls to go, hey, did you hear Barkley and some of the backlash from the players and some of the former players and people around the league saying that the Eagles could go for it? Not one question asked about it. It was asked about the protocol with Hurts and other things. It was 10 minutes of a food salad and a word salad that made absolutely no sense. I could not believe nobody followed up on the biggest story going into this with one of the biggest. Angelo, I think that is the gateway to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
What you're doing right now is a gateway in mentality. If you're afraid of that, you're afraid of everything.
Well, at this rehearsal yesterday, so Jason Kelce brings up the Saquon Barkley thing, and he comes to me first. And I go, come on. No, I would play these guys. And he looks at me and he goes, I knew you were going to say that. And I said to him, thank you. Because to me, when you tell me that I stand for taking the bold stand, for playing with balls, I accept that as a compliment. All right. Because that's the way the city was when I started at WIP 37 years ago. It was take no prisoners, fear nothing. We just lost another baseball season because the manager took out a guy throwing a one-hitter with 110 pitch count, right? We got a basketball team that's 6 games under 500 because their star player has basically been managing his knee instead of anything else. This is getting ridiculous in our town, and there's nobody going up to the top of the mountain and screaming. And honestly, somebody's got to have enough balls to be what Philadelphia still is.
I'm the only guy doing it. I'm the only guy doing it, and I get criticized.
In Philadelphia.
Hey, and I get criticized for it. You're right. And I'm watching this, and I grew up listening to you because IP came all the way up to my city in Stanford, and I heard you all those years talking the way you did. And now when I say something, I can't believe that people have backlash on having balls. That'd be like this, Angelo. A guy is working on a roof. He's going to call his boss and say, hey, look, 95 has got ice on it. I'm not going to show up to work today because I'm afraid I may slide off the road and I may end up getting hurt. So I'm not going to go to work. You think there's anybody in Philly, the people that listen to you all them years had that mentality? Absolutely not. They had that mentality.
40 and older, they don't have no. 40 and older, they're still part of the way we think. Younger now, I'm telling you. What's his name? Mike Sealski wrote a column in the Inquirer making the argument for playing the players. I'm not even sure he was convinced of it. He did a lot of disclaiming in it. So I read the column. It was fine. And then I went to the comments because I wanted to see if the fans were going to go, finally, somebody in Philadelphia has done that, has finally taken the right stand, the stand that represents the fans. Dan, the first 6 comments were all saying, no, don't take a chance. And I went, oh, Jesus, where is my city? Where did it go? Where is it? Chuck Bednarik actually did a 180 in his grave when he heard this crap. Chuck Bednarik's fingers they were all crooked. He broke them all.
I can't.
Right? And he just snapped them back in and went back to play. And now we can't play them when they're healthy to set an all-time record.
I can't believe it either. I just can't believe I'm more disappointed in the fans than I am in the decision. Well, to be honest with
you. The younger fans, they have grown up on pitch counts and load management. They have been rebooted. Their brains have been rebooted to be afraid of everything. I always fear the next thing. And it's like, didn't you see 17 and how bold they were in winning a championship? You didn't learn from that? The owner didn't learn from that? No one learned from it, Dan. They're all afraid of their own shadow in this town. It's annoying as hell. People under 40, grow up here.
Angelo, let me ask you about this one here. So I said this about Hurts and the protocol. Now, this is something that the owner and the organization can't manipulate because it's a neurologist.
Yeah.
So I would say this because it's, you get your own opinion. Then you got the league that's involved with the Players Association involved with this. He's now in the 2nd week of the protocol. I'm assuming that this is serious because, I saw Josh Allen a week prior. They thought he might have a concussion. They cleared him right away on the sidelines. He went in the tent. Neurologist looked at him. They put him back in. He's still in it. Okay, let's say that he comes out of it next week. This will be almost all of Washington. This will be last week. This will be this week. And he's going into his 4th week. Any concern, plus with the attitude, bet your quarterback, again, and look at this year, 2903 in passing yards. They really never got a rhythm this year in the passing game, except for Pittsburgh, really. So are you concerned at all about them heading into a playoff game against Washington or possibly Green Bay, that the quarterback is going to be, again, a little rusty heading into that game?
Well, I'm very concerned you're going to be rusty. I still need him to at least clear protocol so you don't have to worry that he's going to be available. Because, frankly, Kenny Pickett is not going to get it done. He's going to face either the Packers or the Commanders, and I don't like the Eagles' chances against either team with Kenny Pickett there. So he has to be ready. I assume, since it hasn't been a big deal yet, that everybody's confident he'll get cleared by the time that playoff game has been. But yes, he's going to be rusty because he will not have played for almost a month. And you don't just step back in. We've seen it by the fact that the Eagles don't play the starters in the preseason. Do they come out in the first game and look good right away? No. So are you willing to sacrifice the first quarter of the playoff game because you know it's going to take them that long to get back into some kind of a rhythm? No, it is a serious situation. I think they might have gotten a clearing of protocol. I think they could have. They may not have asked for it. All right, they might have gotten it for Sunday. They don't want it for Sunday. They want a good excuse not to play Hurts on Sunday. Well, he didn't clear we couldn't have played him even if we wanted to. I assume he'll clear. I assume they'll get him as ready as possible. And I assume the Eagles will have no points at the end of the first quarter in the playoff game, the first one.
And by the way,
rusty.
To your point, I mean, they've been the worst first quarter team anyway.
Yeah.
Now with the guy not playing a month, I mean, you're looking at what could be a disaster heading into that playoffs. Angelo, I got two questions on Nick and on Howie. So tell me how you think this is going to be handled. Howie Roseman, there is a little bit of a comment that's being made in New York about potentially at the end of the 25 season when his contract is up, that the New York Jets would make a play for him. You know, he's always coveted wanting to go back to New York and be the general manager of that team.
Right.
Well, Woody Johnson, I mean, that's a far cry from the one thing that Jeffrey Lurie does right. He puts the bag of money up front. They're able to manipulate the cap, do things that Woody Johnson, the Band-Aid guy, doesn't really like to do. So all that being said, do you think they address Howie in the offseason here? Because here's a guy here, and you know you got Julian in the background who's right there just about ready to take the reins as GM. If you're Howie, do you want to become a Theo Epstein and end the curse like he did in Boston and in Chicago and go to New York and go, Jet fans, give me a blank check. I'll come in there. You give me autonomy on the salary cap. I'll deliver a championship for you, the first one since Joe Namath. Does he do that?
I'm not ruling it out, and I'm going to tell you why. None of the reasons you said. He's been a yes man for all these years. But by now, especially because he's the hero of this whole season, he put this incredible. He brought all these people together. He recreated the karma that they had 2 years ago when they made it to the Super Bowl. Howie is the number one hero of this season, even more than Barkley, because no one wanted Barkley, and he gave him the money and got him here. Howie, now, if you were doing nothing but having to say yes to a billionaire, especially a clueless one like Jeff Lurie, wouldn't you love the opportunity?
Yeah.
With the leverage he would have, he would go in there and he would have to say to them, and I think he would. He's a smart guy. Woody, I'll do it. I'm the president. I'm totally in charge. You're staying the hell out of it. I'll do it. I wouldn't rule. Why would you rule that out?
I would want to see what my value was.
Yeah. I believe, especially with his New York roots, it is a concern. It's a risk. Now, you know, he'll get to decide that. Really, the Eagles should preempt it and give him a huge offer in this offseason. All these multi-million dollar contracts he's given to players. Nobody's more valuable right now to the Eagles than Howie Roseman. He deserves a monster deal. He deserves to be the highest paid general manager in the National Football League, if not in all of sports. He is regarded as one of the true great GMs in sports right now. And they're going to if they let it go to the last year, he's got to listen.
Man, that's a great take.
Would you want to talk to Lurie every friggin' day?
No. And what you just said, make me the highest paid general manager, all four sports, and give me complete autonomy of the New York Jets. How do you not take that?
I think it would be very, very appetizing for Howie. He's still young, and he's still got plenty of time to go over to New York and be a hero there. So, yeah, I think it is a possibility. And I think if it is, you can blame the owner again, because the owner, once again, is convinced that he's the brains of the operation. And I can tell you, he is not the brains of any operation. He won the gene pool. That's how he got to this spot.
Yeah. Okay, now let's go to the other one here. At the end of the 2025 season, Nick Sirianni's contract is up.
Yeah.
Here's a guy that's been to 4 playoffs. If they get in and they do anything here, there's no question. You've got to look at a guy with one of the top winning percentages. And you and I, it's funny. You and I see the record and we go, that ain't him. I don't know. It's like looking at Sam Darnold. It's somebody said yesterday here, That's not Sam Darnold. That's Tom Brady and witness protection up there in Minnesota. Okay, that's who that is. When I look at Nick, it's not that guy. How do you believe? And they have replaced every winning coach since 2000. Every coach, including Chip, has had a winning record. They look at themselves and their system more than they look at the coach. You tell me how you think they'll handle this guy in the offseason. Do they let him go in like Mike McCarthy as a lame duck coach? Because his deal's up at the end of 25.
They know he's not that good. They're around him every day. Lurie knows that all the big decisions are made by him and Howie. So I can't imagine. I wonder what's going to happen if Fangio gets an NFL job offer this offseason. If it was me, I'd go, yeah, I could be honest. Fangio did a hell of a lot more than Sirianni did this year, right?
Completely.
Sirianni, to me, you want hollow records. You want records that represent nothing. You look at his career numbers. I'm telling you, this guy is not smart. He is not good in the moment. The guy picked a fight with Zach Ertz after the Commanders game. The guy picked a fight with one of the true class acts in American sports. His wife is a soccer hero. He is one of the nicest people you'll ever meet. And our jackass coach got into an argument with him, and Big Dom had to separate him on the field after the game. This guy is a knucklehead. Do you understand? And I wouldn't. I know I'm an idiot myself. I know. I just got to say it. If they won a Super Bowl, I'd fire them. I'd be the first team in history.
Wait, a Pedro Gomez? You're going to do a Gomez deal on him?
I would go, you know what? We won it, but we didn't win it because of this jackass. He's gone. I'm going to name Fangio or Kellen Moore. I'm going to name them the head coach because they did a hell of a lot more. And he can go and he'll get a big offer somewhere. They'll go, oh, my God, this guy's a champion. He's a winner. And then he'll never win again. I hate Sirianni. I can't stand when Jason Kelce said to me yesterday, Dan Campbell, he just mentioned Dan Campbell. And I went, wow, now that's a coach I could love. That's a coach I could embrace. A guy who's not afraid. A guy who would tell Jeff Lurie to go to hell if Lurie tried to tell him whether he's going to play his players. Dan Campbell, to me, is a coach.
Yep.
Nick Sirianni is a fake.
He's a puppet. He's a puppet.
He's a puppet. He's a yes man, and those numbers represent nothing to me. Nothing.
Angelo, I got to give you a lot of credit, man. Because I believe you and me have a sandbox of a very few friends that are in the business because, you have to say some critical things at times and people get bent. Last week, he came on my program and you said something about Howard Eskin. And now all of a sudden, everybody, the Philadelphia Inquirer, Crossing Broad, all that, everybody now is reporting what you said, that there was an issue over there. I mean, do you think Howard's legacy has been hurt a lot? Because, again, here's how I saw him, Here's how I saw Howard Eskin, Angelo. You obviously at the top of the pinnacle there. You and him kind of built that station. And there was another gentleman, I believe, in the middays or mid-mornings that you guys had on your station who passed away, I believe, in the 2000s. And he was in that mix there. Tony Bruno was in there, but it was really you and Howard. And I always looked at them as the guys who kind of like, I looked at you two guys, and that's how I wanted to do it. And I thought he was one of the godfathers of really building sports talk radio. And now I see some of the things that have gone on in his career. And look, I mean, I've got dents in the fender too. I get it. I understand you're on long enough, right? You're going to have dents in the fender, Angelo. I mean, how do you look at his legacy now after all these years? Steve Fredericks, that's right.
Steve Fredericks was a tremendous talk show host as well. Howard was a great talk show host for a long time. He stayed too long, right? I mean, that's clear. That was clear when he didn't have his drive time job, 15 years ago. He loved the job. Even after he had to resign last week, He showed up at the game. He tried to get in. He's trying to go to the note. He loves it. It's his life. So part of me feels sad about him.
Yeah,
The
me too.
story was not correct. You understand? He did not get fired he did not get forced to resign because of shouting at a woman executive from the Odyssey. He got fired because he made physical contact with her 3 times. He grabbed her arms. She asked him after the first time he grabbed her not to do that anymore. And in his moment, he was just upset because he was under instructions to get Brandon Graham out of Chickies and Pete's, and he grabbed her, and she said, "Don't touch me." And he grabbed her again, but he was just in the moment, and that's what ended it for him. It wasn't that he shouted at her. Shouting would not get him fired. So that's the real story. It's everywhere. The fact that it hasn't been in the media is mind-boggling. It's everywhere. There were dozens of witnesses to this. Dozens, Dan. And no one reported the real story yet. That story that ran yesterday, it took him 11 days to get half the story. It wasn't that hard to get. I got it, and I'm retired.
No, I this is what I posted, Angelo. I said Angelo wouldn't go into detail, but there was another incident. That's how I put it, that there was out there, because that's how you presented it. And I said, and get this, they let it, you said that on the 23rd on my show. Yesterday that came out, and I was like, holy cow, why are they so late to this? And now that you're telling me this reminds me of the Marcus Hayes story in some way, that they're giving you these crazy fluff stories, like they're not giving you the truth and how they're covering these things. That is an A1 story that Howard Eskin had a physical confrontation with somebody, and that was the reason that he was in. It's not a shouting match.
It was not sexual. It was not threatening.
No.
He was just trying. He had gotten word from Jeff Lurie, the owner, to get Graham out of there, because Graham had said that there was some issues. He acknowledged that there were a little bit of a problem between A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts, and get him out. He said too much already. Get him out of the building. And Howard was just trying to follow the instructions of the owner of the Eagles, Jeff Lurie. And that's how the whole thing evolved.
Wait a minute, Angelo. Wait a minute. So this whole thing then goes back to when Brandon Graham had to walk back those comments about Jalen Hurts, and all those things that were said, and then he had to come out and apologize, and have that conversation with Jalen. And so this was Bob Lang and Jeffrey Lurie cleanup, and get him out of that location that they were at. And Howard thought he was doing him a favor.
Brandon lives right near Hurts. They're pretty close. He knew what was going on between Hurts and Brown, right? He went on the air and he did what he's done his 16 years of career. He told the truth. God forbid that should happen in the Eagles organization. Lurie heard it and either directly or indirectly got the word to Howard, please get Brandon out of the building entirely. As if we got to talk to him. He can't be saying this stuff. It's bad for the team.
What was the name of the place again, Angelo?
Chickies and Pete's in South Philadelphia.
Hey.
It happened in front of many people. Many people. They were there to see it. They know what happened. They know that he was frazzled. He said, Brandon's got to leave now. He can't leave. He's got to sign autographs. He's still got to do part of his deal of going to Chickies and Pete's to do a show on Monday nights. He can't leave now. No, you don't understand. He's got to leave. This is above our pay grade. We got to get him out of here. Well, no, he's not going. And then Howard didn't know what to do at that point, and he grabbed her by the arm, not to hurt her, not in a menacing way, just in a frustrating, and then she said, don't touch me, and then he touched her again. And that's what set the whole thing into motion. And that's why ultimately it took 11 days. They came to an agreement that he would resign. That's what actually happened. And I was not the witness that day, but I heard this 5 times from people so far in 11 days, and the Inquirer still can't get the story. That's the real story.
What I don't understand is, there's 2 parts to this then. This really was Brandon Graham speaking his mind about Hurts.
honestly.
and the relationship and being honest that him and AJ have an issue. And and then the owner came scooping in saying, get him out of this restaurant here because he's talking too much. And Howard was trying to get him out of there. And all of a sudden now, Howard's the bad guy in this, not trying to do anything crazy, but he was frazzled, like you said. And all of a sudden now, he's been used as the scapegoat in this whole story with Brandon Graham and Jalen Hurts and that A.J. Brown. Boy, I'll tell you, like you said, Angelo, this ownership, man, there's nothing that's too little and petty that they don't go in on.
So they were doing, Howard was doing their bidding, all right? He was trying to help them because they were telling him, get him out of there. And then 2 weeks later, they wouldn't even let Howard into the game, the same team that he was trying to help. So, yeah, there's a way to look at this like Howard's a victim. I mean, give me a break. Whose side are you on here? One day you're on Howard's side, the next day you're on the other side. I don't know. Howard was just trying to stop the issue from becoming bigger because Brandon Graham was speaking too much. And he was under instructions to get him out of there. And I guess that the woman felt he was overzealous, and she complained about it, and that was the end of the line for Howard. But the honesty issue is the real issue. Graham was telling his truth on his radio show, and the Eagles went, he's being honest? Get him out of there. Wow. What is he doing? He's being, we do not tell our fans the truth.
Wow.
That's the fact. That's
how
the real
in the world then don't you come to the conclusion this week on how this Barkley story was handled by the owner? If he's that freaking petty over what Graham is saying at some restaurant on a 30-minute radio show, he's totally going to be ass deep in this here. And I mean, really, I'll tell you, Angelo, I said this, the Eagles have a winning mentality. They don't have a championship mentality.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. But this Barkley thing's going to bite him in the ass. That's what I see. Because you can't whip out in Philadelphia. It doesn't work.
Angelo, man, you bring it. Holy cow. Hey, by the way, I may ask you this. Would you be talking about this on your show?
Well, I mean, be talking about it.
Wait a minute. Let me apologize. Okay. I'm sorry.
Here's the thing. I would talk about it until I was suspended because the people want to talk about it. Everywhere I've gone, Dan, and I've been moving around a little bit this week, everybody is talking about Barkley. They're talking about Howard. And if they're talking about it, I have to talk about it. That's my job. So, yeah, it could have gotten a little dicey at WIP, but those days are over.
Angelo, tell folks where they can find the audio of the book. Holy shit, you're going to have another book coming up, man. You have to, because you got to write a book on
more books.
Wait, no, you got to write a book on the Philly sports media, because you have to write on what you have covered and seen in media, because media has changed since Watergate, and it now has changed since Trump has been in the White House. I'd like to hear that book one day. Tell them where the blog is. Tell them how people can find you.
I don't know that I'm going to write the book, but I do like one-word titles, and the title would be bullshit with an exclamation point. That would be the title. But it's at AngeloCataldi.com. I write every week. Just go to blogs. I write all my opinions that week of whatever happened with the Eagles and any other sports things that are going on. And the book is also available at Amazon. You can get it in audiobook too. It's called Loud. And Dan, it's always a pleasure. And congratulations, nominated for the Florida Sports Hall of Fame. I hope you get in, because you'll have to give a long speech. I had to do one this week.
Thank you so much, Angelo. And thank you for your support too. I got, a lot of people. And I found out, today's my birthday, and I found out that, this morning I had this and they sent this to me that I've been nominated. So it's pretty cool. Angelo, thank you, my friend. My relationship with you means so much. Thank you. I appreciate you.
Happy birthday, too. Happy
Thank you.
birthday. Dan is 39 today. Wow.
Thank you, Angelo. I appreciate him, man. Absolutely. Wow. The story, as I reported it, was true. A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts don't like one another. And Brandon Graham. Xander, what's the name of this place, Pete's? Because I'm going to tweet this story when I take the time out. This is big. Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown have a problem. Brandon Graham was speaking the truth. The owner wanted him thrown off his radio show and escorted out of the building. Chicky and Pete's wanted him escorted out of his show and out of the restaurant because he was talking too much. Howard Eskin grabbed the woman in question and was frustrated with it because they were trying to get him out of there. And they used Howard as a scapegoat and fired him at WIP. Oh, this is too much. Hey, by the way, at Dan Sileo show, Xander, I saw Bob posted something. I'm sorry, Bob, I couldn't get to it. Do me a favor. We got any supers during that time? I'll read them right now before we do the live read and take a time out here. Sills, ask Angelo what he thinks the owner's reception would be if the Eagles still played in the vet after sitting Barkley. The fan base at the link and the vet are completely different. I will text him that. Sorry about that, Bob. I promise you. Holy cow. Rat poison. All right. Xander's going to join us at the bottom of the hour here. Woo! Holy cow. Oh, by the way, Jason Kelce wanted them to go for the record. We got two little tidbits. Eagles ruled Barkley, and the starting O-line is doubtful. Is there any chance they did that to leave open small chances to change their minds? I don't know what those people think. By the way, Jason Kelce, got this. I'm going to tweet that out too. Kelce told Angelo Cataldi, who said on our show today, Jason wanted to go for the record. Okay. What a birthday. Don't be afraid. Hey, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. You know what our show is with all you guys? Fearless. Fearless. So WIP and the Inquirer and the Eagles are lying and changing the narrative of us that Howard hollered at somebody and got fired. That's not the story. Big Sills here. Don't forget to go with our friends at BetUS. We have teamed up with our friends at BetUS this football season for the YouTube 150. That's right. Sign-up bonus up to $2K. Your second and third are 125%. Sign-up bonuses up to $2K. 200% in crypto if you like that. Also, make sure you log on to betus.com.pa. That's betus.com.pa. Fastest payouts in business. 24/7 personalized service, 365 days of the year. That's right. Live wagering on all major games. Go to betus.com.pa. That's betus.com.pa. And do me a favor. Tell them Big Sil sent you.
If you missed any of today's show on the JAKIB Media channel, listen to the podcast on your way home. Available on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify.
Ignite your nights with free live entertainment daily, only at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia's Center Bar. 7 days a week, enjoy some of the region's top party bands, performers, and DJs as they take the stage in the heart of the casino action. Great cocktails, live music, and lively moments. It's all happening at Center Bar at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia. Visit livecasinophilly.com for more details and the complete list of upcoming events. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
The following is a real testimonial from the father of a young injured victim.
I didn't think she was going to make it.
Major Perry's daughter was the victim of a horrific accident caused by someone else's negligence.
If you don't find the right counselor, law firm that you're looking for, you will get lost in the wilderness.
Badly injured? Call the Fritz and Bianculli Law Firm at 215-458-2222 and find out why they say, "We got this."
In our hometown, we all look out for each other. We step up to keep our communities going strong. And at Independence Blue Cross, we're here to keep you going strong as the #1 health insurer in the region. No IBX is always looking out for you.
We noticed that there was mold creeping into our basement about a year and a half ago, and wanted to make sure that we were getting rid of the problem permanently. We actually reached out to several different contractors to get it resolved, and actually 2 of them recommended DryTech to us as a long-term solution. Other than the noise factor, we wouldn't even know that there was work being done on the basement level. It's really been a clean process for us.
Score and save this football season on your car insurance. Before the next game, save up to 40% on your auto insurance policy. That's right, 40% savings. Call an Audible this season and contact the Del Val Insurance Group. They're an advocate for you, not an insurance company. That means they'll get you the right coverage and save you up to 40%. Call managing partners Fran or Jim of Del Val Insurance, 215-354-0122, or score and save at dvigi.com. dvigi.com.
EAGLES, Eagles.
Oh, mud on to me. How you doing? Woo! How you doing? Oh. Oh my God. Yeah. Holy cow. This is what I just tweeted out. All courtesy of JAKIB Sports, your #1 source for Philly news right here. Big Sills. Angelo Cataldi just said on our show on JAKIB Sports that former sports radio WIP Howard Eskin grabbed a woman at Chicky and Pete's because the owner of the Eagles instructed folks to get Brandon Graham off the air because he was talking too much about the relationship with Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown. Howard grabbed the lady 3 times. Brandon was telling the truth that A.J. and Hurts have a poor relationship. How you doing? Oh. How you doing? Yeah. Oh, man, on to me. Can this be real? Holy cow. Whew, baby. Hey, that's going to leave a little bit of a mark on people here. The worst person you could tell that. Hey, Joe Krause, the worst person you could tell that shit to is me. I'll have 18 topics off this whole thing. A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts have a horrible relationship. How you doing? Holy cow. Sills, you're a schoolgirl gossiping. I wasn't me gossiping. I didn't talk that shit. How could I? How am I? What are you talking about me? I didn't say that stuff. You're making it sound like I said it. Isn't it funny every time something comes out like that? And Sileo said, I didn't say shit. To be honest, it seems like WIP did Howard a solid by reporting he got asked to resign because he yelled at a vice assault. Hey, I care more about, Angelo Cataldi just said on our show on JAKIB that former sports, this is a great tweet. Do you not think? Look at this thing. Angelo Cataldi just said on our show on JAKIB Sports that former WIP Howard Eskin grabbed a woman at Cheeky Pete's because the owner of the Eagles instructed folks to get Brandon Graham off the air because he was talking too much about the relationship with Hurts and Brown. Howard grabbed the lady 3 times. Brandon was telling the truth. AJ and Hurts have a poor relationship. Now, if that's not what he said, okay. If that's not what he said, what you doing? Worst guy you can talk shit to like that to is me. Can't do that to Big Cells. Are you nuts? Is it fair to say that the relationship is strained given that Hurts isn't living up to the quarterback that AJ thought he could be? Yes. This is what I was saying. This is what I was telling. Big Sills, once again, validated and vindicated. Only a matter of time before AJ was going to start bitching and whining that the targets weren't coming to him. And that the relationship between the quarterback and him, and then how about Hurts lying? You know, Brandon Graham spoke out of school. Not according to what happened. And by the way, Yale says speculation. Angelo said there were witnesses everywhere to it. Okay? Holy shit. Xander needs extra minutes to post this clip. No. People are going down. Oh, my God. Here, I'm going to retweet what Xander just said here. There we go. Right there. We just got to do that. This is what you do when you break. This is what you do when you break story. Hey, by the way. Hey, Joe Krause. Make sure you text me on this. How come Will Sileo sitting in his home, in his studio, how come I know more about your city than you do? Not you, Joe. The media in Philly. How come I know more about your sports market than I do? I know more than they do. How can that be? How can I know more about your sports market? Hold on. Gossip? Angelo said there was around 40 people that were sitting right there watching it all. Oh, and by the way, one more fabulous tweet. Here, let's do this here. And I'll put JAKIB, of course, Joe, because I am doing this. Angelo Cataldi on the Sileo JAKIB show said Jason Kelce, you all heard him say that because Jason said it, wanted Barkley to go for the record. How you doing? Let's do Eagles. Oh, Bob Lang's going to be calling my bosses for sure on this bitch. Angelo on the Dan on the Sileo show. JAKIB Sports said, Angelo on the Sileo show, JAKIB Sports said Jason Kelce wanted Saquon to go for the record. What are you doing? That's kind of contradicting what he says on WIP, isn't it? How could I know what's going on in the city? Really, all Angelo said was Lori wanted BG off the air because he didn't want BG talking about the situation. You took it, well, different. No, I listened to what Angelo said. I didn't take it any other way. That the relationship is fractured. Woo! Woo! Hey, if I missed any Super Xander while I was tweeting away for us, you just let me know, man. Damn. So the relationship between the starting quarterback is back again. Okay? Hey, by the way, oh my God, Odyssey's going to be all over me. And hey, Joe, you better put your suit of armor on. Hey, Xander, you guys better put your suit of armor on. How you doing? Hey, look at this guy. What fucking news? Okay, I'll tell you, Slagger. Your quarterback and your wide receiver don't have a very good relationship because they wanted him off the air because Brandon Graham was talking too much about the relationship between the quarterback and the wide receiver. How you doing? Yeah. Diva. Look at AJ, man. Woo! Yeah. Holy cow. Did this all on my, you really think that this is all about for my birthday? Angelo said it. That's right, Elizabeth. Big Sills didn't say it. I'm just quoting him. Hang on here. I didn't say this. You guys got it wrong. This ain't Big Sills. Angelo said it. Woo! Oh, man. Lori said Big Dom your way. Woo! Big Dom's going to be coming for Big Sills soon. Holy shit. Big Dom. Hey, Sileo, better get your shit together. No, you know what they're going to do? They're going to create issues and say that the story's a lie. You know what I'm going to say? I didn't say it. We reported it. Okay? Joe, how you doing? Hey, by the way, all we did was report what he said. That's not our story. He said it here. Oh, and by the way, Jason Kelce wants the record. Okay? Woo! Man, oh, man, oh, man. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. What a day. Big Sills. What a day. Come on, hey, Sue. Your quarterback and your wide receiver hate each other. I'm sure that's going to play well in the playoffs. And now you're pussing out, not going for the record. Who are you afraid? And then your quarterback and your receiver hate each other. Hey, Billy, what's up? Your quarterback and your receiver hate each other. You're afraid to go for the record. Sounds like you got shit working well, man. Getting in. This is like nuclear bullshit. Still trying to convince a jury with hearsay. What hearsay? It was a him say. A reach. Well, I'll tell you what we're going to do, my friend. If it's a reach, We'll let the public decipher it because Xander's going to put a clip of it up on my X account. And then you know what we'll do? We'll put it in the most important court in America today, the court of public opinion. And then we'll let people make their own decisions. And we know usually how that goes. You're welcome. How you doing? Yeah. Oh, man. What a story. Holy shit. I was expecting Angelo to go. I was trying to set it up. Howard's a really great guy and all this shit. Let's see here what Philly said. Elite. That story's elite. I don't think that they were saying Graham was right. They just didn't want him misspeaking again. Doesn't mean they hate each other. So why would the owner parachute in? And so Brandon Graham lied? So wait a minute, Philly, are you calling Brandon Graham was lying on the air on his show? Is that what you're saying? So Brandon Graham is a liar. It's one or the other. Either he's telling the truth or he was lying. Why would Brandon Graham was being nominated for the Walter Payton Man of the Year? I mean, I better add that to it. Here it is. Oh, shit. Oh, my God. Here is truth. Here is the truth on Hurts and AJ Brown's relationship and Eskin being fired. Oh my God. This is absolutely priceless here. Eagles inquire. I'm not even going to put those idiots at cross-dressing broad. Not happening. Okay. We got to put JAKIB in there. Because here we go. There's JAKIB. Let's see here. Yeah, I think that'll cover it. Here's the truth on Hurts and Brown's relationship and Eskin being fired. How you doing? Happy birthday, Sales. Happy birthday. I guess he didn't see AJ and Jalen praying together before every game this season. Oh, okay. Hey, Anthony, you're probably right. Anthony, I'm just reporting a story that was said on our show. Either these things are true. AJ and Hurts have a bad relationship. Brandon Graham's lying, or Angelo's lying. Okay? Oh my God. Wait, great work, Xander. Great work. Great work. Great work. Great work. Great words. Seals hate Hurts. Top tier. I don't hate Jalen Hurts. I can give a shit. Hey, Sills, look into your crystal ball. McKee goes out and throws for 375 and 4 TDs. Philly wins 31-10. What does your show look like Monday? Tanner Manning. That's what it looks like. Hey, how many more lies are you with? How many more lies are you going to go with WIP? They've lied 3 different times. Holy cow. This is just too much. This is too good. Holy cow. And yeah, right here, too. This one here, Jason Kelsey wants to go for the record. I think that's also news. Okay. Let's see if Jason disputes that. Woo! Curveball. Throw curve. Over the top. Throw curve right there. Right there. Oh, yeah. Oh, no. Hey, Bob, Tanner Manning. If that thing goes out like that. Okay? Sills, show us football equivalent of General Hospital. I didn't say. Wait a minute. King, I didn't say this. How am I getting pinned? How am I getting pinned in this? How am I getting pinned? By the way, Philly 500, I referenced them. Did you see it? I referenced them twice. Philadelphia underdog is crazy. Get this. How about Philly 500 with the take it a week? They're synonymous with one another, the record in the Super Bowl. Philly, I love that take of yours. I love that take of yours. I think you're correct. Holy cow. Oh, my God. This thing's blowing up. This thing's going to be because the Inquirer, they reported the wrong story. He didn't get fired. He got fired for putting his hands on her. Oh, my God. Thank you. Hey, what a birthday present. Hey, look at this guy. So here's another example of a guy who gets mad at a guy who has a show that people come on and say things in their city, and he blames me for it. I haven't even read this yet. So let me go here with Senorita Sills, as always, instigates his guests to say things he wants. Wait a minute. Watch this, guys. Let me show you how fucked up this thing is. Angelo, I have got you in the Vulcan mind fuck. I want you to say whatever I want you to say. Can you hear and feel the silver Sileo dust? Hey, I want you to say things that I want you to say. Wham! What a dumbass take. This guy's a stupid ass. That's what I do. I make people say shit they don't want to say. Okay. The guy can't read, can't throw, can't move. Can't untie a knot. Can't beat Bowles. Can't keep his friends happy. Can't keep Tanner from taking his job. Holy shit. I guarantee you they tried to make JAKIB take that video down. Hey, guys, hold on. It's 4:40 Eastern time. I guarantee you they threatened to sue JAKIB by the end of this program if we don't take that video down. I know this business. I guarantee you. Everybody's seen them praying together before every game. Amen. If they so-called hate each other, that would not happen. Stop with the nonsense. I didn't have any nonsense. I didn't say it. Got the wrong guy. Once again, you got the wrong guy. I didn't. Hey, Elizabeth, do you hear these guys? I didn't say it. Okay. Ernie, thank you. Ooh, Senorita says that I'm doing the mind thing here. I want you to say what I want you to say, and you can't say no more. Hey, matey, I put the Sileo mind fuck on you. Sills, the take on Eskin and Kiki and Pete's is all okay. Well, hey, I'll tell you what, Bob, we'll wait and see what people say about it. The real issue is that that is the issue. You're right. Is that the owner billionaire is listening and dissecting BG's comments on the air. You're right, Bob. Bob, that's the take. That's the take. You're right. I think Hurts and Brown are fine. I don't think BG was lying, but he was making assumptions, not anything he had proof. Okay, well, how about the owner getting him off the air? So the owner listens to everything that goes on the air. Probably, I know he now listens to my show. Do you agree, Philly? And probably yours. Like the FBI. Angelo's full of anger and propaganda. There was 100 people there watching it. Woo! Oh, boy. You don't, oh, my God. Boy, I got to tell you, man. Oh, that's so nice. Oh, wish you the best. That's so nice. The athletic director, University of Miami, gave his endorsement for me being the Hall of Fame in the state of Florida. Thank you. Appreciate that. Okay. Well, I don't think that they censor these guys and try to control speech. I know they listen. That's 100% true. Pulling a guy off his radio show because he's saying something, okay. I don't know what censorship is to you. If that's how Brandon Graham felt, you're censoring him. Brandon Graham, you're saying he spoke out of, you're calling Brandon Graham and telling Brandon Graham was a liar by saying that. That he was not speaking out of, he was speaking out of turn. Thank you, Ernie, again. Bumper, got to be your burner account. Yeah, like Xander says. Do I look like a fucking guy with burner accounts? I can barely log on and turn my mic on. I've got burner accounts. Man, oh man. Oh my God. You guys, people who say that must have them because I don't know what the hell you're talking about. Pumper's got to be your burner account. I mean, if you knew me, you would laugh at that. You would totally laugh at that if you knew me. Holy cow. I would totally welcome Howard Eskin at JAKIB. Somebody just said, Sills, you should get a Howard. I would totally. He knows the game. Whoa! Hey, can I just make this public in PSA about JAKIB Sports? Don't fuck with us. Don't fuck with us. You want to keep fucking with us? We'll make you look stupid. You know what we just did today? JAKIB Sports just made the Inquirer and cross-dressing broad look stupid. Reporting a story that they didn't cover correctly. Whether it's true or not. Angelo goes, I would have told this story until I got suspended. Oh, happy birthday, Sills. Happy birthday, Sills. How you doing? We are going to have Philly 500, or excuse me, Philly Godfather. We had Philly 500 on yesterday, and he's been killing it here, man. Absolutely. I took from you, man. They're all synonymous with one another. And now it's being said by Angelo Cataldi that the relationship, Brandon Graham said that A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts have a bad relationship. How you doing? Xander and I didn't say that. Let's bring our friend, the co-host, and we will see him Sunday in the pre-halftime and post-game and the post-post, our good friend, Bitsy Xander Krause.
What's up, Big Sills?
I don't know.
Sorry, I'm not in my main spot today, so I got a little different setup. Can you hear me all right?
I got you crystal clear. Can you hear everything that has been said?
Yeah.
The last couple hours here.
We're not turning into the Philadelphia Cowboys, are we? With an owner that has his hand on every part of the team at every single turn. Brandon Graham can't even speak his mind on a radio show down in South Philly at Chickies and Pete's. by the way, the owner of Chickies and Pete's goes to the same church as I go to. I might have to stop Pete in the church and ask him what's going on.
How about this, Andrew? Whether or not the relationship between the two guys is fractured or what have you, what level it is, isn't it go into exactly what's happened this week about an owner that parachutes in and makes these rash decisions about, and Philly says that I misread it.
Well, there's another prominent owner decision in the right now in the news. Why do you think they're not going for the record with Saquon Barkley? You don't think that's Nick Sirianni, do you?
Absolutely not.
You don't think that's the players, do you?
No, I think that's.
I don't even think that's Howie Roseman.
No, I don't either.
That's the owner.
It's
the owner's got his hand on that.
Yes, the owner has his hand on it.
I'm telling you, he's Jerry Jones light in a different way.
What'd you make of what Angelo said?
About Eskin?
About anything. About the Eskin and
yeah, I've done enough talking about
how it all started with Brandon Graham, Jalen Hurts, and AJ Brown. That's the beginning of the story. And then the backstory is he was just trying to get Brandon Graham out of there. He wasn't trying to do anything stupid. And there, once again, there was your Brian Johnson.
What are you misreading, Phil? You misrepresenting our man, Philly 500?
Am I? Is that what he's saying?
He says he misread. Now he misread what I wrote about misreading my comment.
Hey, Philly 500. Let me ask you this. Me misreading something? You think that could possibly happen?
Reading comprehension is not one of the pillars of the National Football Show. Okay, reading comprehension is not one of the 5 Sirianni pillars here on the show. But
you're a mean one, Big Sills.
You don't think there's anything? I don't know, because you don't think there's any reason that Jalen Hurts is out for an extended period. This is now 12 days, still not out of the protocol today, was not present at practice. Will Shipley suffered a concussion in the same game as Jalen Hurts, and he has been back and practicing all week. I don't know. I mean, if the relationship is bad or fractured to the point where the owner felt the need to step in the middle of a Brandon Graham interview, potentially there's something deeper. I don't know. You know the old saying, Sills, where there's smoke, there's fire.
Yeah.
Well, we got smoke. We got a lot of smoke. So if you want to tell me there's no fire, okay, but I'm going to go and check that thing out and make sure there's no fire that's burning the house down.
So when those press conferences happen and they put those people in front of John and everyone, and Nick talks like that I had to make a decision that was best for the team. Come on, man. One of those people, now look, people have to do their jobs and they have to have accessibility. But doesn't it get to a point before people start calling the Eagles out on overstepping their bounds, on people actually doing the right job, not a job, doing the right job? Nobody even followed up with the Barkley question when Barkley even said, I quoted him, he was disappointed that he couldn't go for the record.
He was so obviously
disappointed. That question.
He was so obviously disappointed too. And then they tried to make it seem like he wasn't that disappointed. And I'm like, he was clearly disappointed. He clearly wants to go for the record. And then they're toying with you now, trying to, hey, he's out there practicing today. So I don't know. I don't know what to make of that whole situation, but you're not wrong, man. You're not wrong. And Bob Brown's been pointing it out in the chat. Jeffrey Lurie has a Hollywood background. Jeffrey Lurie is a movie guy. That's where he made his money, in movies. You know how those people act in Hollywood. Oh, yes. You know how they control the narrative and the media and everybody that reports. I mean, I think Bob Brown's brought up some good points in the chat about it, if anybody has looked at that. But I don't know. I think we got our own version of Jerry Jones here. It just looks a little different, Yeah. But just because a wolf is wearing clothing doesn't mean it's not a wolf.
Because he's got Howie.
Yeah, but I don't even think this is Howie.
Would you? No. I think the reason that you know what? I think I'm going to have, by the way, T, we're going to read everybody's supers, I promise. Do you agree that Howie Roseman is the most important person in that organization right now?
I thought that was a good comment by Angelo. I think he's right. And you're seeing it. I mean, even all of your commentary on Jalen Hurts, and I think any real Eagle fan that has watched this team for a long time and is not doesn't want just pie in the sky all the time. Oh, we're the greatest team on earth and we have no issues. Realizes that, our offense is built with so much talent. You're really not getting the right bang for your buck in that offense. I mean, 3,900 passing yards last year, 3,800. Now you're down 2,900 this year with Jalen Hurts. It doesn't look like it should look. And the reason we're winning so many games is because our roster is so good. And even last year, we won a lot of games. Even in 22, we won a lot of games. They added Saquon Barkley to that offense. And look at how much ground he made up for the deficiencies on the offense. So, Howie Roseman has done an insane job. And the other MVP this year is Vic Fangio, because Howie didn't really give him the greatest roster. I mean, he gave him good players. He drafted well. Got to give Howie credit for that. I was hard on him with the Georgia picks. They're all turning the corner now. Even Jordan Davis a little bit. I know he's not a first rounder, but he looks like a guy he's not a nothing burger on the field.
No, I'm not saying he's not a first rounder. I think he's down at the bottom of the first round. I'm not saying that. I just don't think he's the 13th pick. And I think that's up in the area more where you're talking about a Fletcher Cox kind of talent up there at that point. And more so where I projected him around.
Here's the best testament to Howie in the draft. You lost 2 Hall of Fame players in the last year. You lost Fletcher Cox and you lost Jason Kelsey. You had 2 Pro Bowlers this year that were the replacements for those 2 players. Other organizations don't do that. That doesn't happen everywhere. You don't let go of a Hall of Fame player and talk about the offensive line got better. You don't get rid of a Hall of Fame defensive tackle that you won a Super Bowl with and say, our defensive tackle room might be better. We might have a better guy. That's drafting. That's Howie Roseman right there. And he deserves a lot of credit for it. I think Angelo is right, man. He's the most valuable guy in the room right now because it's not the quarterback, right? I mean, most teams, it's the quarterback. Yeah. It's not really the quarterback in Philly. And I don't say that to knock on Jalen. It's just, this thing is a well-oiled machine. It's not just Jalen. So it's got to be Howie. It's got to be Howie.
How about this, man? I mean, as good as Brett Veach is in Kansas City, he's one of the top general managers. The guy in that building is Mahomes. They're still getting around it. It's Mahomes, then probably Andy.
Yeah, and then Brett Veach. Veach and Andy have done a good job too. But I don't know. Can I ask you, let's just say for a second, Dan Campbell was our coach. And I just like Dan Campbell. I'm sorry, everybody. You're going to have to get over the fact that I like Dan Campbell.
I get why you like him.
If he was our coach, because everybody talks about the Sirianni win percentage and everything like that. If Dan Campbell was our coach since Sirianni was hired here, what do you think his win percentage would be? Or how many games do you think he'd have won? You think he'd have the same level of success? What if Mike Tomlin was our coach? Forget that. What if Andy Reid was our coach? Like anybody, even a Kevin O'Connell or somebody lesser.
Or LaFleur.
Right. How many games would we win?
Be right there.
We'd be in the same room? That shows you that Howie Roseman is the MVP of the team. You might have to pump the brakes on some of your Howie slander. He might your slander on some other people isn't going anywhere, but Howie might have shut Big Sills up.
Yeah, wait a minute.
Might have shut you up.
Here, possibly. And I'll say this. Angelo brought it up. You might have to make him the highest paid general manager in all of sports not to take that Jets gig. What would stop him from doing this, Xander? Hey, I want to go to the Jets and I want to have complete say and I want to be the highest paid GM in all of sports and I have complete autonomy. Even if you want to give me some equity in the team.
The Jets. That organization sucks, dude. Listen, I'm not the biggest.
Money talks.
I'm not the biggest fan in the world, but Jeffrey does. Good.
Money talks.
Money does talk, but don't you think Howie's smart enough to know he won't be as successful in that organization?
What says you? Why do you say that?
Well, because the way it's explained to me is that a lot of what Howie's able to do in manipulating of the cap is largely because Jeffrey Lurie is willing to spend the money up front to convert things into signing bonuses, to free up cap space, to kick the can down the road when ultimately that money is going to become due someday. And Jeffrey Lurie is flexible with that money where other owners, just owners even like in Vegas or in Cincinnati to be, on the way other side of the spectrum, they can't do that at all.
No, you're
I
right.
do the Jets more like that than I do like the Eagles. And I will give Jeffrey Lurie some credit for that. He does open up the checkbook, and that's why the biggest cap hit we have with Jalen Hurts is $47 million. Meanwhile, the Cowboys have a $90 million cap hit coming up with Dak Prescott. I mean, we're not operating in the same ballpark, and I know Howie's good at it, but some of that definitely goes to the owner. And if he goes to the Jets, he's not going to get any of that, you know?
No, he would have to demand that.
He would have to demand it. But, you know, again, demanding a personnel guy is different than demanding, hey, I need you to be flexible with $500 million a year. You know what I mean? It's a little bit different of a ball game here.
Okay. No. Hey, I get it. I totally get it. I want to do something with you here before we get in the next hour here, before we get the legendary Philly Godfather. Let me ask you this. Here's my year-enders. I want to ask you this here. My year-enders for the Eagles. They're not playing this week, starters, so. Who is your defensive MVP this year in 2024?
Is it as easy as just saying Zach Bond, or do you think Jalen Carter has a bigger effect on that overall defense? I think Jalen Carter could be one of the reasons Zach Bond is so successful.
Okay. I'll give you mine. I think Jalen Carter is your MVP.
Okay. I'm good with either one. Again, another situation. You take him, I'll take the other. But I'm going to go Zach Bond because Jalen Carter, as good as he is, in a way, we expected this. I know it's crazy what he's doing and how good he actually is, but we almost expect, like, this was the scouting report on him. You know, he's got some off the field issues, but if you get him on the field, he is an insane talent. And that's what he's been. That's what he's been in Philly. And to his credit, I do think he's maturing a little bit. You listen to some of his interviews. I listen to him when they talk to him in the locker room. He seems like he's really matured as a man, as a player. You know, even listening to him yesterday speak on making the Pro Bowl for the first time and what it meant to, like, his family. I thought that was pretty good to listen to.
Wait, I thought Pro Bowl didn't matter.
Oh, Pro Bowl, Matt. You could see it in the players' face, man. They're, you know, how important it is for them to make the Pro Bowl. So don't let anybody tell you the Pro Bowl is not important. Maybe it's a flawed system. Maybe the game stinks.
It is.
But making it still matters for these guys. By the way, a lot of them have incentives tied to it. As Zach Bond talked about, he laughed at his incentive when he signed it. But
yeah,
again, back to the point, though. Back to the point. Jalen Carter, we expect this. Zach Bond, we didn't even do an emergency recap on you. We recap everything. A leaf falls at the NovaCare complex, and we make a video on JAKIB. They signed Zach Bond. We didn't even make a video. That's what the expectation was for this guy. This guy was maybe a practice squad special team player, a bottom roster guy. That was in the room for Defensive Player of the Year, not just Pro Bowl.
No,
I mean, that's pretty insane what he's doing.
Oh, I was goofing on him. I totally was.
Yeah, we were.
Okay. Look at now, Jeff McCain advancing our story. Look at this.
I saw Jeff McCain. He put that out before us. I bet you he doesn't have the information you gave out on your show.
Was forcibly grabbed a female Odyssey employee during the altercation. Sources told the Inquirer. Oh my God. Okay. I'm not a reporter, so I don't pretend to be, nor do I care, but these people over there.
I do laugh.
Hey, Jeff, do me a favor. Quote it, will you please?
I do laugh at how many reporters there are in the city and how many people are covering the sport. This is one of the biggest media contingencies in all of sports. Most people, I don't know if people realize that there's that many people, there's that many media members, and nobody really prods. Nobody really goes for the real information, you know, and even me as a fan, like I have a desire to know the deep nature of what's going on. Not just, oh, hey, we're 13-3. Woo, we might win the Super Bowl. Like, you know,
I won't lie to you, man. Anymore. I won't lie to you. John is one of the very few guys that phrases things in that room very well to get more questions out of things than what more people do. And John's critical of them.
I admire John.
Do too.
I admire his hard work and I admire his commitment to what he does here on JAKIB. He's a great partner. Great guy to have on our network. I love him.
He's a great partner.
I'll just say there's questions that are left on the table by everybody in that room, not just John. And, you know, I do think that there is a little bit of an environment at the NovaCare complex that
Set
if
up
you
by
go
Bob.
out of line too far, if you step here, if you ask this question, if you push back on this narrative too much,
You
you
bet.
know, you're going to get your key fob stolen.
That's right.
You know, and you know that we've had a conversation here at JAKIB on the phone with somebody about that very topic, and many people, JAKIB is not well liked in the NovaCare complex. Bob Lang has said he will not credential anybody from JAKIB Media because he doesn't like the narratives on our shows. Now, you can say that's the show, or you can say that's them just trying to control everything. They're entitled to be able to do that. They're allowed to do what they want. But I will say it has created an environment where I think you have timid journalists. And again, I don't say this to knock on journalists, because when your paycheck is tied to something and feeding your family is tied to something, you're gonna act in the best interest of your family, as I expect you would, as I would, and as I expect everybody.
I don't have a problem with that.
Exactly. I don't either. So I'm not saying this to come at reporters or anything, but there certainly seems like the environment inside the room is not a good one.
Angelo started a firestorm today.
He probably did.
Okay.
Now I was coming on this show again. I'm out at my main location, so I'm working on a second computer. This breaks. I'm like, oh my God, Silly, you got to give me an extra 10 minutes here. I got to pull this clip. So a little producing on the fly is always fun, Big Sills.
All right, let me ask you another one here. Now, I've made these kind of Sileo-wise, these questions for you.
Okay, I like that. I like a little Sileo-ization.
Who is the
I'll push back with truth, justice, and the big Z way.
Who is the offensive MVP, the O-line or Barkley?
I'm going to go Saquon, because the offensive line's tremendous, and he wouldn't do this without them. But at the end of the day, he's the one toting the rock. And we had two backs here that got 12 and 1,300 yards, or 1,300 and 1,200 respectively, and they were both good players. But you see what a game changer Saquon Barkley is. You see what his home run capabilities can give you. You see how much of a different level of player he is than guys like we had with Miles Sanders and DeAndre Swift. And don't get me wrong, I love DeAndre Swift. DeAndre Swift went to the same high school as me. We were there at the exact same time. I have a great picture of us together at the state championship in the prep one. I'm friendly with him. I know him. I love him. Saquon Barkley is in rarefied air when it comes to talent at the running back position. Rarefied air. And because of that, I'm going to give him the MVP.
He did go to a Super Bowl with Miles Sanders.
He did? Yeah. And then we sat him because he couldn't hold on to the ball in the first play of the game.
Well, okay, that's irrelevant. I'm talking about you got to the Super Bowl with Miles Sanders because of that O-line.
Well, again, that's a credit to Howie Roseman.
The
O-line. Oh, you're talking specifically.
Yeah, the O-line. When we not agree, the O-line's been pretty dominant the last 3 years.
I hope you don't think I'm trying to take away from the O-line and giving Barkley.
No,
I'm not.
No, I'm going to go Barkley too, but I'll tell you what, that O-line is the best I've seen since the Cowboy lines.
Yeah, and you see it because even guys like Kenny Pickett and Tanner McKee can now operate back there. You know, do you think that, you know, the narrative or this, and I subscribe to this as well. So I'm challenging myself on this question, but Saquon Barkley ran for 160 last week. Many times we were told that Jalen Hurts helped a lot. I believe he did. I believe Jalen did help. But Saquon did run for 160. Does that kind of show you how dominant really that offensive line is and how they are the number one reason that Saquon's able to do what he's done?
Yeah, I think the passing game kind of neutralized the fact that there was no running coming from the quarterback because they were so efficient in throwing the ball. There were very few drop footballs that were there on Sunday last week against the Cowboys here. All right, let me ask you this one. Who's the Eagle Rookie of the Year?
Rookie of the Year? Give me Q.
I'm going to Gene.
I knew you would. I'm cool with that. I'm cool with either. They're both great. I think we nailed on the first two picks of the draft, which is great. Both defensive backs. Doesn't happen often in Philly. It's a great time. It's a great time to get those guys in the draft. Quinyon looks great. I will say the last 2 weeks concerned me a little bit more than others. You know, you go 15 weeks, you don't give up one touchdown, and then 2 straight weeks you're targeted, you know, and you give up touchdowns in those games. Also, a couple more throws that were missed last week by Cooper Rush, where Quinyon was beat And remember, they weren't playing against CeeDee Lamb. You were playing against lesser guys, and then he was still open. So, Quinion had a little bit of a regression last couple of weeks, but nothing too concerning. I'm going to give him the Rookie of the Year.
Who's the most improved Eagle?
Nolan Smith. Or Nakobe Dean. Is that the other one? I'm going to go Nolan. Because I like the premium edge position more, and I think Zach Bond has helped Nakobe Dean a lot. I'm going to say Nolan because I went with that first, and I'm going to go with my gut.
Nolan, Dean. I got to go Dean. I can't believe that he's had a good year like that. And last week he was felt. Him not being out there. He was felt not being out there. Okay. I mean, do you not agree?
I do. Okay. I mean, what did Rico Dowdle have last week? I think he was over 100 yards.
Yes, he was.
Yeah. So the run defense definitely got a little bit worse. And I've always said Nakobe Dean's a great downhill player. So he's, he plugs the holes on the defensive line quick, versus Oren Burks was kind of letting it come to him, a little different style there.
Who was the assistant coach of the year, Jeff Stoutland or Vic Fangio?
Vic Fangio. 31st.
You have a shot at the all-time rushing record, and you're on the cusp of doing NFL history. And
okay, well, here, let me give you a better.
Hold on. Your quarterback is 29.03, and you got 13 wins.
Okay, we've always had a good running attack, though. So the same reason that Andy Reid won't get Coach of the Year this year and Kevin O'Connell will because he's doing it with the backup is the same reason that Vic Fangio is the better answer here, because he took a 31st defense and turned it into a first defense. Jeff Stoutland got a historic Hall of Fame level talent player at running back. And to his credit, he capitalized and took advantage of it. But we've become accustomed to having a great running game in Philly. We've become accustomed to having a great offensive line in Philly. I didn't expect this defense to be the number one overall defense in the NFL. I didn't expect us to have Pro Bowl players on defense. I didn't expect Zach Bond to be an all-pro linebacker. I didn't even expect C.J. Gardner-Johnson to tie his 2022 number with 6 interceptions this year. I mean, Reed Blankenship's a player. Nakobe Dean, Nolan Smith, Jalen Carter's elevating. Josh Sweat's having a great year. Everybody's playing better in Vic Fangio's defense. Now, I don't know if that's coaching. I don't know if that's the way he's related to them. I don't know if it's teaching. Maybe it's teaching these guys where to play and how to play his scheme. Whatever he's doing, it's working. And I'm going to give him the nod there.
I agree. I even though Jeff has done a sensational job with that offensive line, making Becton better, enhancing where they are by having a more talented back there. He's been to a Super Bowl, and now he's got another win. And he is just making great players get this. You are an O-line factory. And there is no doubt about that. It's one of the best O-line factories I've ever seen. Xander, let's get to the super chats before the Philly Godfather joins us here. Let's see. We got a bunch of them too here. We appreciate everybody. By the way, guys, do me a favor. Please hit the like button.
Anthony Wilson says, answer me this. Before the controversy, AJ and Jalen have been on video praying together before every game. Does that look like they hate each other? Anthony, we already answered.
What's that got to do with Target?
Yeah, I mean, I saw it too, Anthony. It's great that they do that, but don't you think that's a little bit different than what someone's relationship is outside the lines?
How about this? Do you think people have different business relationships than they do personal relationships?
Well, also this too, though.
Oh, man.
Isn't there a world that exists where their relationship might be fractured and it might not matter at all?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it's business. Go out there and get him the ball. AJ Brown's one of the best receivers in football. Just throw him the ball, dude. I don't really give a shit what you think of him. Just throw him the damn ball. You know what I'm saying?
Not everything has to be perfect here, man.
Yeah, I agree. Holy crap. Look at T-Bone. T-Bone, thank you, bro. That's really cool,
bro.
man.
Thank you, T-Bone.
T-Bone dropped a 50, a 20, a 20. T-Bone, that's love, man. Thank you so much, brother. That's really cool of you.
Thank you on my birthday, T-Bone.
Wow, look at that. A Big Sales birthday gift. T-Bone says, a Super Bowl win will mean very little now. I'm so pissed. All drama now and past years, all on Lurie. Pressure Lurie to sell. Boycott every way a must. Only thing a lib gets is a punch in the mouth or they won't change. I'm a vet and I will fight to Rid Kami Lurie. Wow.
How about this, T-Bone? Don't ever let anybody take your passion and your love for something that you have away from you.
And thank you for your service to our nation, by the way.
Absolutely.
Yep.
But T-Bone, don't let anybody do that, man. I mean, if you love your Eagles, remember something. Jeffrey Lurie's not an Eagle. You are. You were born and raised in that situation where you love that team like that. You're an Eagle, man. The owner is he's just an owner. That's all he is. He's not an Eagle, man. The fans are more Eagles. Take a look at those people who sit at Lincoln Financial every day, the way they cheer, the way they have great passion for that team. Man, I have great respect for it. I do.
Yeah, me too. T-Bone, good stuff, brother. Thank you, man. T-Bone again. Little Jeffrey Lurie, right on, Z. Look, Lurie ain't going anywhere unless forced. What will fans do? How far will they go? Picket Eagles office and stadium. Don't buy merch. No show games. Give up tickets. We must force change. T-Bone, I love you, but I'll say this. It's not happening, man. This city loves this team too much. This team is winning too many games right now. You're talking about a small fraction of people who would ever think this way, and I think even 1-2% might be high. I mean, I don't disagree entirely with what you're saying because I do think Jeffrey Lurie does things he doesn't need to do. Prime example, Saquon Barkley resting this week in Week 18, but I don't think it's happening.
Hey, you know things are going well when you get a "How you doing" from Big Joe.
Oh, man. Daniel Belfield. What up, Daniel? He says, you're a mean one.
You're a mean one.
Mr. Sales. Your Grinch song was one of the best shows at Christmas. He started the show with a freaking
Thank
Christmas.
you, Daniel.
He says, Real Zeal, what's up, my guy? Thank you, brother. He says, happy birthday, Big Sills. Whenever you say cross-dressing broad, a tranny gets his or her Eagles wings. Oh, my goodness. Zeal, you do get credit for dubbing that name. I'll give you that.
Yes, you do.
Lawrence Gray says, Jalen Hurts is more like Joel Embiid.
No way. No way. Nobody's that bad. The guy doesn't. No way. I do not. Joel Embiid does not
learning from Lurie.
win.
He's learning from Lurie. So if anything, he would be doing it in the shadows, similar to how Jeffrey Lurie operates.
No way. I don't put Jalen in that room.
No, me neither. Philly 500 says, Big Sills, you misread what I said. What I said was, I don't like that they censor guys, and they do, and I know they listen to what is said, and you misread them the wrong way. Sorry about that, Philly 500.
Hey, Philly, what gave that away that I misread something?
Again, reading comprehension is not one of our core pillars here.
Remember, when you get degrees at the University of Miami and Alabama, they're the ones that fold in your wallet.
Here we go. T-Bone checks in. T-Bone says, sorry, I'm getting political. T-Bone, you dropped $20. You can do whatever the hell you want, my guy. Absolutely. He said, this shit would never happen with a conservative owner. Liberalism and any other ism is a pathological disease. We have seen many asinine events since Lurie, and it won't be better till Lurie is gone. Wow.
Oh,
T-Bone,
man.
Not happy.
Not happy at all. Thank you again, my friend. You're
a
awesome
disgruntled
today.
Eagle fan. T-Bone, I love you, brother. I appreciate you being here, man. It means a lot to me. Mikey Shred says, I can love you as a person, but I can hate you as a teammate. For 60 minutes a week, we are not friends. We are teammates and business partners.
That's right.
Yeah, it's like me and Sills. 60 minutes a day, I want to beat this guy's head in. Brian Pumper says, Jalen Hurts is the Angel Reese of football. Mid-skills and all height. Oh, my God.
Hey, Brian, I won't lie, man. She's a smoke show, though, man. I won't lie, man. You know, I like me some Angel Reese, man. I do.
Teach his own. Mad Dio says, it's speculation to Lurie's reason to get BG off air. If BG was speaking without knowledge, is not lying. Otherwise, Sills is lying all the time.
Oh, my God. Yeah, so wait. Either this happened. Either the relationship is fractured, Angelo's lying, or BG's lying. But we now know this. The owner parachuted in and had him taken off the air. Whoa. How you doing?
A future Eagle Hall of Famer.
Hey, wait a minute. And the current Walter Payton Man of the Year nomination.
Right.
Okay.
By the way, they're one of the biggest reasons we have a Super Bowl ring. Brandon Graham, strip sacking the GOAT Tom Brady, who many will say, oh, he wasn't going to go and score. Well, he did have put up 500 yards already in that game. So I'm thinking he was going to go score if Brandon Graham didn't strip sack him and seal the game for us so we could live in NFL immortality we passed up another option or another potential to have that in our cap this year. And flexing and stepping doesn't care. Come on, flex.
Going. All right. Are we done?
That's it. Wait, let me check. I think I got them all.
Good.
The people have been showing out today, haven't they?
Oh, yeah. No. Appreciate it for Big Sil's birthday. Absolutely.
I always laugh at the people who say you have a burner account. I'm like, if you knew how much this guy, he barely knows how to send a text message.
No shit. Xander goes like this. You text like my girlfriend.
No, worse. Way worse. Not even comparable. Way worse.
He goes, yeah, these people are like this. This guy's got, I go, really? You think I can barely manage my own?
I send Sills one text in a Philly tone and my phone's ringing. Oh, what do you mean? What do you say? I'm like, relax, big guy. Relax.
Hey, you firing me? Hey, did you see Jared Verse say it today? He goes, hey, man, I saw 3 calls from Sean McVay. I thought they were firing me. He goes, no, ding dong. You made the Pro Bowl.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, Xander.
He's going to get Rookie of the Year, right?
What's that?
He's going to get Rookie of the Year.
Yes, he's going to get it.
I got one last thing to say. I got one last thing to say.
I think if Q had 4 picks, he'd have got it.
I have one last thing to say because this is the last time I'll be on this week on JAKIB Sports until obviously the pregame show on Sunday. Make sure you guys tune into that pre and postgame show here on JAKIB Sports. Looking forward to doing that. And closing out week 8. Can you believe it, man? I feel like yesterday me and you started our postgame show together. Week 18 this week.
Wow. I can't. I was thinking that same thing today when I was putting the show together. I'm like, man, it just shows you when you're having a great time, man, how fast shit goes.
All right. So I'll end it with this. I have yet to be given a reason, a good reason, to be convinced after a week now of debate, after a week of talking to you, of talking to John, of reading X and following Eagles Nation and listening to Philly 500's videos and listening to even some other Eagles YouTubers out there. Why can't we get both? Why does going for the record stop us from going to the Super Bowl? Why have we spoken about this whole thing like if you go for the record, you can no longer go for the Super Bowl? I don't understand. I understand the logic of someone saying you're trying to improve your odds and having your players healthy and rested improves your odds. Okay, that's viable. But why are we acting like if we put our players on the field, something they've done for 17 weeks straight now, we're going to miss out on the chance to win a Super Bowl? I don't understand why those two have been tied together. So with that, I'll say go and get the record and go and get the Super Bowl. Both. That's what every Eagle fan should be saying. Why do we want to shy away from either of those things? I don't want the record and not the Super Bowl. I don't want the Super Bowl. You know, Sills, I tweeted out, what's the only thing better than winning a Super Bowl, Sills? I'll give you a second to give me an answer.
Hall of Fame?
Setting an NFL record on your way to the Super Bowl. That's the only way to make it better, is to make NFL history on your way to the Super Bowl. Think about that. The only thing better than a Super Bowl win is doing it while making NFL history.
Well,
we're passing up that opportunity. I think it's a miss.
It is.
I think it's a miss.
So Crossing Broad just gave us credit for.
Well, I sent the story to Kevin.
Well, Kevin just posted it. He posted the video. And so this, hey, Xander, if that video's up by the end of the fucking show, by the end of the day, I'll be stunned.
What video? I'm not deleting nothing. They're going to have to get the Google Gestapo on me if they want me to take that thing down. They're going to have to threaten to take my entire channel and business if they want me to. I'm not deleting anything.
Holy shit. You are, hey, make sure you and Joe, hey, by the way, I don't know. I don't know why I get accused of starting fucking forest fires, but hey, thanks a lot, Xander, for everything. How you doing? If Derrick Henry runs for 250, Saquon will play.
Wait a second. All right, I got another question.
You
can't let me go yet. I got another question here.
Is that Baltimore game on Saturday?
Saquon Barkley has another incentive that's not only tied. That's not only tied now to the playoffs, but he had a $500,000 bonus in there for leading the league in rushing. So are you telling me they're going to sit him and then Derrick Henry might pass him on the rushing list this year? Is that possible?
Yes.
Yes, they play tomorrow. Are they resting starters though?
That I don't know. But wait, no, they can't. Can Pittsburgh still catch him?
I think so. Pittsburgh is 10-6.
Okay.
They're 11-5. Although Ravens won the head-to-head.
Okay. Yeah.
Wait a second. How many yards does Derrick Henry have this year?
Let me see here. I think he's got 1,800 yards. I think he's got 1,792 or something like that. I think he's
1783. Okay, he's far off.
Yeah, he ain't getting it.
He needs 230 yards.
Yeah.
All right, I think we're good. I think think about that though. That would be a real shot in the face, a slap in the face. Now, here's what I will say. I'll also give Lurie credit. He typically does that for players if they do something like a couple years ago when they rested players, he gave them the bonus that they would have had from playing that game. So I think Lurie would probably make good on it, but still, it'll go down in NFL history as he was the second leading rusher in the NFL that year. And then Derrick Henry will steal the headline as the only running back to go over 2,000 yards twice in a season, or twice in a career.
Well, all I know is that Angelo's making the rounds right now, dog. Is
that why you're distracted over there?
Oh,
you're not even
my
paying
God.
attention.
Are you kidding me?
Ilya's got Twitter up.
Hey,
His mentions are going.
That thing is so distracting. It's like someone has to take a piss. I mean, that's kind of distracting.
It's true. Well, we had a great week of shows, even through the new year and a snooze fest week because of the game this weekend. But we had some great shows. We had Philly 500 and Mark Holmes who were great yesterday. Philly 500, I'm going to give you credit because I thought you made maybe the best, most compelling case on YouTube for Saquon Barkley to play this weekend.
Yes,
and your video that you put up was excellent. Excellent. So make sure everybody goes and checks that out at Philly 500 channel. We love having him on here. He's a great dude and he's got a great channel.
Absolutely.
So well done, Philly.
I'm going to take a time out here, brother. I appreciate you, brother. I'll see you on the pregame.
You want to read these final two super chats real quick? Sorry. He says O-line deserved the rushing title.
Yep, they sure
And then
did.
he says, why not let him see if he can get the record? This is the healthiest he's been, plus he's played all the games. I agree.
Me too.
And then Brian Pumper says, you're not lying, Sills. I may hate her talking points, but boy, I would have Angel Reese. All right. I'm out. Come on, Pump. I mean, come on,
Pumper. How you doing?
All right, Sills. Good stuff.
All right,
everybody,
man.
I love you all, man. Thanks for all the support.
You got it. All right, guys, do me a favor. Please hit the like button. Philly Godfather coming right around the corner. Hit that like button. Keep it your National Football Show.
If you missed any of today's show on the JAKIB Media channel, listen to the podcast on your way home. Available on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify.
Ignite your nights with free live entertainment daily, only at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia's Center Bar. 7 days a week, enjoy some of the region's top party bands, performers, and DJs as they take the stage in the heart of the casino action. Great cocktails, live music, and lively moments. It's all happening at Center Bar at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia. Visit livecasinophilly.com for more details and the complete list of upcoming events. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
The following is a real testimonial from the father of a young injured victim.
I didn't think she was going to make it.
Major Perry's daughter was the victim of a horrific accident caused by someone else's negligence.
If you don't find the right counselor, law firm that you're looking for, you will get lost in the wilderness.
Badly injured? Call the Fritz and Bianculli Law Firm at 215-458-2222 and find out why they say, "We got this."
In our hometown, we all look out for each other. We step up to keep our communities going strong. And at Independence Blue Cross, we're here to keep you going strong as the #1 health insurer in the region. No IBX is always looking out for you.
noticed that there was mold creeping into our basement about a year and a half ago, and wanted to make sure that we were getting rid of the problem permanently. We actually reached out to several different contractors to get it resolved, and actually 2 of them recommended DryTech to us as a long-term solution. Other than the noise factor, we wouldn't even know that there was work being done on the basement level. It's really been a clean process for us.
Score and save this football season on your car insurance. Before the next game, save up to 40% on your auto insurance policy. That's right, 40% savings. Call an audible this season and contact the Del Val Insurance Group. They're an advocate for you, not an insurance company. That means they'll get you the right coverage and save you up to 40%. Call managing partners Fran or Jim of Del Val Insurance, 215-354-0122, or score and save at dvigi.com. dvigi.com.
EAGLES, Eagles.
Big Sills, how you doing? Holy cow. Angelo Cataldi comes on the show and drops a nugget. Hey, you know what? I got to tell you something. Before I get the legendary Philly Godfather on here. So last year, you know what he did? I'm going to call him out on something here. You know what he did? So he got a couple pictures, AJ, this and that. He goes, I know things that I know things. He reminds me of a couple paisans I know up in Bay Ridge. Okay? And he knows he's a couple guys in Bay Ridge. They do this all day. I go, what are you doing? He goes, they're checking my watch, how quick it takes you to get in that hole. Okay? And so I know a couple guys who know a couple guys. And Philly Godfather's always hanging around. Where else would you think he would be? He's in Atlantic City. Okay? Right? And what's in Atlantic City? Well, you see, I don't want to stereotype anybody, so I'm going to go, a lot of my cousins are there. And he knows things that knows things. I wouldn't be surprised if he knows all this stuff. And he already knows all this. And before we get into what's going to happen this week, because there's some really good games and there's some significant games. By the way, before we get to him, you want to hear a stat? Here's a number that's going to blow your mind here. If Joe Burrow throws for 359 yards this week and 3 touchdowns, he goes for 5,000 yards and 45 touchdowns if he does that. Only the 4th guy ever to do that. So without further ado, let's bring in our friend, the legendary Philly Godfather. Look at this, man. You come in, there's smoke all over the show right now.
I hear things, Dan. I hear things. You know what I mean? I got a guy. You got a guy? I got a guy.
I know a guy who knows the guy. You know the guy who knows the guy who knew the guy. Right?
Yeah, but before we start, I think all Alabama fans, they need to call that law firm from downtown Fritz and B and Kulo, because they just got run over by a freight train. And when I gave out Michigan on the money line as a 17-point underdog, it was over already.
Wow. A team that lost 6 ball games beat the doorknobs off them. I mean, hey, well, dude, let's do this. Before we do the pros games, what about the college games here, man? Notre Dame, Penn State. Who do you like in that one?
I mean, Penn State looked the final score looked pretty good against Boise State. But if you dig through that game, Boise State had 3 more first downs. They had 30 more total yards. On the time possession battle by 9 minutes. And if it wasn't for some brain cramps, a couple missed field goals, and 4 turnovers, that game would have been a lot closer than that final score indicated. I like Notre Dame here. Penn State was able to run the ball down Boise State's throats, and I don't think they're going to be able to do that against Notre Dame. I like Notre Dame -1. I think they win the game. And as we know, James Franklin always comes up a little short in big matchups, and this is a team that's definitely going to give them some headaches. Can Penn State win? Yeah, they can win if everything goes right. But I think Notre Dame is the better team going into this matchup.
How about Ohio State, Texas?
It's a lot of points. It's almost up to 7. As you guys already know, I gave out Ohio State before the season started to win it all. And a couple of weeks ago, I was getting a little nervous. They weren't looking good, but they came into these playoffs and just, beat down Oregon. They're the team to beat. I think they win the game. I don't know if they cover the spread. If the line gets to 7, I'll probably nibble a little bit on Texas +7. It's a big number. You know, they're coming a little undervalued. They were a 4th and 15 away from not even getting here. It's amazing what Arizona State did to Texas. So I think in the market, they're coming in a little undervalued. And the way Ohio State beat down Oregon, they might be a little overvalued when it comes to the point spread. So 7 points, in my opinion, is a little too much.
Let's get into what Angelo said before we get into the game. So we had Angelo Cataldi on last hour, and he said this, that whole situation that popped up. First and foremost, let me. Do you think Barkley should play this Sunday?
No. I mean, records are cool to look at, and they're always going to be broken. But, I mean, if he gets banged up and injured going into the playoffs, I mean, we've seen what's transpired with this team when they took the ball out of Jalen Hurts' hands and they handed it to Barkley, and he's been running down teams' throats. So you can't afford him to get injured. Records are cute to look at, but Super Bowl rings is what it's all about. So, no, he shouldn't play.
Okay. Let's go here at this then. So Angelo was on last hour, and he said this. He said that the reason that Howard Eskin was asked to be removed from WIP was because Brandon Graham was on his show at JAKIB Pete, and he was specifically talking about the poor relationship between the quarterback and the wide receiver and how bad it was, and that Jeffrey Lurie parachuted in and had him and wanted him physically removed from the show that he was doing for WIP. And Howard grabbed an Odyssey employee and was just trying to get Brandon out of the building because the owner of the Eagles wanted him off the air. Now, again, whether that is true, what's your take on the fact that the owner of the football team is listening to a radio show, and because a guy is having a different maybe opinion of what the organization's narrative is that he wants him taken off the air? Here's the Walter Payton Man of the Year candidate. And you're talking about, again, I mean, there's no way Nick Sirianni made that call. I think we'll agree on this at least. Is that Nick didn't make that call if Barkley plays or not. The owner made that call on whether or not. What do you make of that? Where I say this, Billy, I think the Eagles are a winning franchise. I just don't think they have a championship mentality because I don't think you can do anything in fear. I mean, how about you? You're up to your neck in sand. Somebody's got you buried. Hey, did you ever do anything in your life where there wasn't risk?
Yeah, no, I'm one of the biggest bettors in the world. I risk something much more valuable than money, and that's freedom. And luckily, I came out on top. But when it comes to Jeffrey Lurie, he's been a great owner. People talk a lot of crap about him, but he's consistently had this team winning games, going to championships, winning the Super Bowl, going to Super Bowls throughout the years. He's protective of his brand, of his team, of his, $8 billion franchise. I wouldn't have done what he did, but, he did what he did. And, he called down, tried to get Howard off that show. Howard, he's old school. A lot of us older guys, when we talk to people, we touch, we hug. And a lot of the kids today don't really, they can't comprehend that's how things were back in the day. So if someone's talking to you, you might grab and be like, come here for a second, let me talk to you. But I wouldn't have grabbed her, especially in today's climate. So he made a mistake there. He let his ego and maybe his emotions get the best of him by grabbing her. Howard's been, a legend in the Philly, radio business for years. I haven't always agreed with him. Over the last decade, he's become kind of an ass kisser to the Philadelphia Eagles organization. My good friend, Joe Santaliquita, wrote that article about Carson Wentz a few years back that went viral. And I was part of it. I mean, I remember every week Joe was telling me the story, and it was all 100% accurate. And then when he came out with the story, Howard tried to bury him. So I didn't like that because he was in so close with Lurie. So, honestly, you can't touch nobody these days. Jeffrey Lurie did what he had to do to protect his $8 billion franchise. And, I don't want to say Howard was in the wrong, but he's done a lot of goofy stuff over the years as well. But, you can't judge a man by a single incident. You judge him by the body of his work. So if you want to judge Howard, judge him that way instead of just this single incident.
Let's get into the games here. Baltimore, I'm not sure what their positioning is, so tell me if you think the game even matters here, because I think there's still a game up on Pittsburgh in the AFC North. So they got Cleveland, and Cleveland's probably want to go and at least try to go up because jobs are on their line. Kevin Stefanski's job might be on the line here if he ends up losing. This is the 2-time NFL Coach of the Year, too. How do you see this Baltimore game? Do they have to play? I mean, I don't know the parameters of this because I know they're a game, and I think they split this year. So I don't know what the head-to-head is for the AFC North. Does this game matter at all?
Yeah, it does. With a winner or a tie, they clinch the AFC North. The points, they're 20-point favorites, so they're not losing this game. The total's at 41. I think they definitely start off red hot in the first half. They get going. Not sure if they take the pedal, their foot off the pedal in the second half to cover that 20-point line. First half, you might look to bet them on the first half. I think the line's like 10.5 or 11. So that might be the smarter way to bet this. It's not really a game I'm interested in investing in because the point spread's so high and because of the scenario revolving around the game and because, the Browns are all banged up. So if you're looking to bet it and you want to bet it, maybe Ravens first half is the smart way to do it.
This game really matters. Cincinnati, Pittsburgh. And Cincinnati right now, I gave you this number. How about this here on Cincinnati? But Joe Burrow throws for 359 and 3 touchdowns. He throws for 5,000 yards and 45 TDs. There's only been 4 men ever to do that. You called this about a month ago. You said if they went out, they've got a chance at least. I know Denver has to drop one, but Cincinnati here, I think Miami does as well, if I'm not mistaken. Cincinnati at Pittsburgh, and Pittsburgh's in a 3-game slide. How do you like this one?
Yeah, the line's 1.5, 2, depending on, what sports book you use. The total's at 48. Again, this is another game. I like the Bengals in the first half. I think they cover the spread. I think they cover the number. I think they win the game outright as 2-point favorites. But you can probably make some money with Pittsburgh if you put them in a teaser leg, grab 7 points, add it to the 2. Now you're at +9. You tease them with maybe an Atlanta Falcons team. You might be able to get some money. The Steelers, though, they got to win this game. Right now, if they don't win this game, I think they play the Ravens in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So if they do win, they end up playing the Texans. I think they can beat the Texans. So this is a big game for both teams. Obviously, Cincinnati has to win, but both teams have incentive to play, all 4 quarters. But I like the Bengals here, -1.5, -2, and but I think it's going to be a close game. I think it's going to be a close game.
Does Carolina, Atlanta? I don't want to go into some of these dumb games. Carolina, Atlanta. Well, Atlanta's playing for. Are they still in it for the NFC South?
Yeah, they're still in it. I think the whole world's betting Atlanta here. The line's 8.5. It's kind of high. Right around 70% of the tickets are on the Falcons. I talked to guys offshore in Vegas, so there's a lot of public early action on the Falcons here. If they win this game and Tampa Bay loses, then they're in the playoffs. But the Buccaneers are 14-point favorites against the Saints, so it's going to be it's going to be tough to happen. I'm not looking to bet the Saints. I mean, they're bad. You're getting 8. I'm not looking to bet the Panthers here. You're getting 8.5 points. Maybe if you tie the Falcons into like a teaser, get them down to 1.5, they're going to win this game. But I think there's going to be some points scored in this one. So probably Falcons in a teaser, and maybe look to bet the over.
Washington, 11 wins, man. I mean, look, they came up short for me winning the NFC East, but they could be a 12-win football team this season, which would be pretty remarkable. And there you have, I don't even know what Dallas is. So bad. I don't think they look as bad as the 1-15 team when Jimmy Johnson first got there, but they're awful, man. They got injuries all over the place. I don't know what the point spread is here, but is this Washington all day?
It looks that way. It lines up to 6.5 at Dallas. The Commanders need a win here to get that number 6 playoffs. I mean, or else I think they play the Birds. Unless the Packers lose to the Bears, I don't think that's going to happen. But they got to win here, man. This is another game I like in a 7-point teaser leg. Get the Commanders down to pick them, or maybe a plus 0.5 point. But honestly, I think they cover the spread. I think they're going to come out fast. Cowboys got nothing to play for. They're banged up. Commanders need, they need a win here to get the better positioning in the playoffs. Probably Commanders -6.5.
You just mentioned it. Green Bay at home at Lambeau with Chicago coming in, the oldest rivalry in pro football. Chicago, had a very disappointing season. I mean, I think Chicago, if I'm not mistaken, I think they've gone into the land of Dak for the Philly Godfather. This guy here he's got too many L's on his resume right now for you, and he's going to have to do a lot, I think, to come out of it. And I'm talking Caleb Williams here. You've been really disappointed with the kids' play and really Chicago's play because that roster's better, in my opinion. I'm with you, too. Godfather, I think Chicago's roster is better than what they performed with this year. So Green Bay all night on this with the points?
Yeah, the Vegas odds makers, they agreed with you. Before the season started, the Bears had a season win total set at 8 wins. So they've underperformed all year. Caleb Williams or whatever his name is, he's shown flashes of brilliance, but in the first half of games, he's had a hard time. He's done a lot of stuff during trash time. Inside the red zone, it's been very difficult for him. So he needs a better offensive line. He needs some better coaching. He might come around, but I don't think he's worthy as that number 1 draft picks. But when it comes to this game, Packers are 10-point favorites in a game they have to win. LaFleur said he's not resting any of his starters because with the win and the Commanders lost, they end up playing the Rams or the Buccaneers instead of the Birds. So this is another big game for the Packers. The line opened up 7. It's up to 10, 10.5. I'm not looking to bet a side here. It's hard for me to bet on the Bears. I put them on the do not bet list a while back. I mean, if anything, I would pass on this or tease the Packers down, but I'm not looking to bet Chicago here. That team blows.
I don't know what the ramifications in seeding is for Houston, but, Tennessee, I'll tell you something, and you've said it too all year when we do this segment, one of my favorites, by the way, is that Tennessee has played hard. I mean, they're going to give you a game, and I think that kid Callahan, they just don't have talent. Their quarterback blows. But Houston, they got to win, right? This is a seeding game for them to be able to what seat they're going to have in the AFC playoffs, correct?
Yeah. I'm hoping the Titans lose the game because I got futures on them. I took 11-1 on them to end up with the worst record in the NFL this season. So I hope they lose the game, but they probably won't. I mean, D'Amico Ryan says he's going to start everybody, but I don't know if they play the whole full, 4 quarters here. I'm hoping the Titans lose, but I think the Texans need a win bad here. They've lost 2 in a row. So they need some momentum going into the playoffs, right? I mean, you don't want to lose 3 in a row and go into playoffs and, you're all deflated. So as 1.5-point underdogs, I'm hoping the Texans win. I'm hoping they cover the spread. I guess the Texans plus 1.5 is probably the right side. I haven't bet it. Yeah, that might be the right side.
I'm going to give you – I don't want to hear what you're going to say on Jags and Indy. I'm going to ask you this one on Jags and Indy. What are the odds that both coaches get fired? What are the odds that one coach gets fired? Okay? What are the odds that both keep their gig? So you tell me, what's the better one? Both get fired? One gets fired. Which one? Or both keep their gig?
I think Dougie P gets fired first. But
you think Steichen keeps his job then, right?
Yeah, I hate talking about people getting fired, man. It's people's livelihood. So, and I love Dougie P. He brought us a Super Bowl. He did it with a backup quarterback. I mean, people talk about all these great coaches in the NFL over the years. Bill Belichick, Andy Reid, and they're great coaches. But without Patrick Mahomes or Tom Brady, they never won a Super Bowl. And now you got a coach like Dougie P, where things haven't gone his way over the last couple of years in Jacksonville. But he won a Super Bowl with a backup quarterback, and that's never easy to do. So, he's one of my – I like Dougie P, man. And he deserves that statue down there in Philly. So I don't want anyone – let's go to the next game. I don't even talk.
All right. Kansas City at Denver. Kansas City doesn't need the game, and your favorite Philadelphia son, Carson Wentz, is getting the start versus the Denver Broncos, who need this ball game desperately if they want to keep Cincinnati off their heels. And by the way, they'll know a lot because since he plays on Saturday.
Yeah.
What do you like here?
The Broncos are 10.5-point favorites. The Chiefs are going to sit everybody. Andy Reid and Sean Payton are really close friends. And nobody wants to see the Bengals in the playoffs, So I don't know. I mean, what's Carson Wentz going to do? I mean, the Broncos are the healthier team here. They got an elite defense. When's the last time Carson Wentz even, threw a football during a game? That line's too high. If anything, probably, with two good defenses, you might look to play the Chiefs on a teaser. I guess, what's that number? 10.5, 7. Take the Chiefs plus 17.5 and under 47.5 in the teaser.
Carson Wentz, 275 and 3 touchdowns. Come on.
You know what, though? And for people that clown on Carson Wentz, before he broke his back, before he injured his leg, before he got walloped against the Seahawks in that playoff game that, changed his career, he was a hell of a quarterback, man. So that, all those injuries, one of the worst offense. That one year he got sacked 60 times last year in Philly. A lot of factors changed that kid's trajectory, or else he would have been a pretty good football quarterback.
Absolutely, man. No question about it. All right. The Chargers, they need to win this game. They got the sorry-ass Raiders who are trying to whatever with Antonio Pierce, who I think is getting fired. The Chargers all day in this one?
I didn't touch the game because I want to see what happens between the Bengals and the Steelers.
Huh.
The Chargers currently, I think they have the number 6 seed, but if the Steelers lose the Bengals, they can get the number 5 seed, and they end up avoiding the Ravens in the playoffs, first round playoffs. So, but they got to, beat the Raiders for that to happen. The Chargers really, I mean, if that doesn't happen, they ain't got nothing to play for. So, if as of right now, I wouldn't touch the game. I'd sit back and wait to see what happens between the Bengals and the Steelers.
Does Seattle and the Rams matter at all? Because the Rams have already won the West.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, so is this more because they're kind of aren't they kind of slammed in on the 3 seed right now, where they're the 3 seed? That can't change in any way because I don't think the Bucks can catch them, right? So does it matter this game at all in Seattle? Have they been eliminated from the playoffs?
Yeah, they've
been eliminated. So at the end of the day, does Seattle just want to go for making sure they're above 500? Is that what we're doing here?
Yeah, they're probably going to win the game, but the line is 7, so it's all about the price. The Rams are going to rest everybody. Sean McVay already said that. So they got nothing to play for. I guess the Seahawks, I don't know, at 7, I'm not looking to bet it. These games, they're tough to get a gauge on.
They're hard. I would think, aren't these hard to put a gauge on for you? Because you don't know who's in and out and how. And on top of that, how long they're going.
Yeah, that's true. So you really got to, peel the onion off, keep peeling that layer off, layer to see if you find any value in these games. But I don't find nothing here. Rams are going to rest everybody. Could be a blowout. Seahawks probably win the game, but did they cover the 7-point spread? I'm not sure.
Okay. Let's see here. Miami with the Jets. This could easily be the last game of Aaron Rodgers' career. I'm not thinking he wants to go out on his back. In Miami, I don't know if they're eliminated. I think they're still in the conversation on making the potential playoffs. And I don't know if Tua's playing. So I don't know how this game is going to look here. But any interest at all in this Miami and the Jets, or this would stay away game?
A while back, I told you I wasn't going to bet the Jets again this season. But here I bet the Jets. I took the Jets plus 1.5. They're the much healthier team going into this matchup. Miami's offense has struggled. Over the last 2 weeks, I think they're averaging less than 2 touchdowns a game scoring-wise. The QB comparison isn't even close. I think Huntley is playing, and he blows. And I think he ranks 43rd out of 46 quarterbacks in the NFL when it comes to passing success rate. So if he plays, I mean, I like the Jets here. Like you said, I think Aaron Rodgers retires. This is going to be the last game he probably ever plays. So I'm taking the Jets plus 1.5 for all the feta cheese and grease, baby.
Oh, my God.
Yes.
Hey, is this right? If Miami wins and Denver loses, Miami's in the playoffs?
Yeah, they're in. That ain't happening.
Holy, so because personally, what I'm hoping for is that Miami and Denver loses and Cincinnati wins, and they end up making the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, if Carson Wentz can pull a rabbit out of his hat, but as a 10.5-point underdog, it's going to be real difficult, especially with the relationship Peyton has with Andy Reid, and the fact that nobody wants the Bengals in there.
San Francisco, Arizona, any interest?
I mean, Arizona's a 4-point favorite in this game. I didn't bet it. I guess I would lean towards Arizona. I mean, 49ers offense is decimated with injuries. I think Josh Dobbs is quarterback. I'm not sure for the 49ers. I guess I didn't bet it, but, probably Arizona -4 at home.
Okay. This is a great game. Never in NFL history have we seen two 14-win teams playing against each other in the final week of the season here. Minnesota goes to Ford Field against Detroit, and this is for everything. It's on NBC Sunday Night Football, and it's for NFC home field advantage. Who do you like in this ball game? Both quarterbacks have played the hell out of the football. I would think Minnesota is probably a little more healthier going into this game than Detroit. And Detroit's coming off of a short work week, having played on Monday night versus San Francisco. Who do you like in this ball game? What a great game. I can't wait to watch this thing.
Yeah, it's going to be a shootout, man. It's going to be the best game to watch all week. I took Minnesota +3 as a small hedge because I have a Super Bowl future on the Lions for $5,000. They win the Super Bowl, I win $65,000. So it's kind of like a little bit of a hedge. But I think they can cover that number. The game's a coin flip, in my opinion. But like you said, Minnesota's a much healthier team heading into Sunday. I think they put up a bunch of points because the Lions' pass defense is all banged up. So I went over 27.5 points for the Minnesota Vikings team total as well. Can Detroit win this? Yeah, they can win the game. I mean, their wide receiver, Amon St. Brown, he's been a big part of their offense this year, and he consistently smokes that Vikings defense, the high two zone safety, heavy defense that they play. So I think it's going to be a close game. The team that has the ball last is probably going to win the game. So if you give me +3 points on a coin flip, I got to take Minnesota here. I'm hoping they lose, but it's probably the right side.
My God, I love doing this with you, man. And now the playoffs are coming around, and we got the Final Four in college football too. Philly Godfather, tell the folks where they can find you, where some of the bets that you parlor up with on your Twitter page, and where some of those side bets and prop bets, where people can find them during the playoffs here. Show them where they can find you.
Yeah, you can find me on X at Philly Godfather. The website's phillygodfather.com. You can grab my book. You can pre-order it now at phillybooked.com. And we gave you futures before the season started on the Detroit Lions to win the Super Bowl and Ohio State to win the college football national championship. And we're getting pretty close, Dan. So good luck to everyone this weekend, and keep firing.
Absolutely. Godfather, thank you. We'll catch you next week, my friend.
You got it, brother. I'll talk to you, man.
You got it. Philly Godfather. Absolutely. Make sure you guys hit the like button. Don't forget our great friends at BetUS. We have teamed up with all of our friends at BetUS, what we just did there with our YouTube 150, folks. Make sure you get signed up for the YouTube 150. Bonuses up to $2K. Second and third are 125%. And if you're into crypto, that's 200%. Your signing bonus is up to $2K. Go to betus.com.pa. That's betus.com.pa. Fastest payouts in the business. 24/7 personalized service, 365 days of the year. 24/7 personalized services, 365 days of the year, I should say. Live wagering on all major games. betus.com.pa. That's betus.com.pa. Tell them Big Sil sent you.
If you missed any of today's show on the JAKIB Media channel, listen to the podcast on your way home. Available on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify.
Ignite your nights with free live entertainment daily, only at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia's Center Bar. 7 days a week, enjoy some of the region's top party bands, performers, and DJs as they take the stage in the heart of the casino action. Great cocktails, live music, and lively moments. It's all happening at Center Bar at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia. Visit livecasinophilly.com for more details and the complete list of upcoming events. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
The following is a real testimonial from the father of a young injured victim.
I didn't think she was going to make it.
Major Perry's daughter was the victim of a horrific accident caused by someone else's negligence.
If you don't find the right counselor, law firm that you're looking for, you will get lost in the wilderness.
Badly injured? Call the Fritz and Bianculli Law Firm at 215-458-2222 and find out why they say, "We got this."
In our hometown, we all look out for each other. We step up to keep our communities going strong. And at Independence Blue Cross, we're here to keep you going strong as the #1 health insurer in the region. No IBX is always looking out for you.
We noticed that there was mold creeping into our basement about a year and a half ago, and wanted to make sure that we were getting rid of the problem permanently. We actually reached out to several different contractors to get it resolved, and actually 2 of them recommended DryTech to us as a long-term solution. Other than the noise factor, we wouldn't even know that there was work being done on the basement level. It's really been a clean process for us.
Score and save this football season on your car insurance. Before the next game, save up to 40% on your auto insurance policy. That's right, 40% savings. Call an audible this season and contact the Del Val Insurance Group. They're an advocate for you, not an insurance company. That means they'll get you the right coverage and save you up to 40%. Call managing partners Fran or Jim of Del Val Insurance, 215-354-0122, or score and save at dvigi.com. dvigi.com.
EAGLES, Eagles.
Well, we couldn't have done this. Holy cow, we appreciate everybody. Holy cow, do me a favor, guys. 257, hit that like button. We appreciate it. By the way, once again, I got to flat out tell you guys, this is why they hate this network, and most notably me, is because people in your city come here and have freedom of speech and can say whatever they want. There's no guardrails. Okay? And by the way, that's not my story. I'm not the one who said those things. So you can get mad at me all you want. As my wife would say, the deliverer of lies. Is that what some of you would call me? The deliverer of lies. Okay, well, don't forget, pregame show on Sunday. The halftime show with John and Xander. Don't forget the legendary postgame show. And then also the postgame show. We appreciate all you guys so much. Please hit that like button. Big Joe, thank you. Big Z, we'll see you Sunday. We'll see you on Sunday. And on Monday, 2 to 6 Eastern time. Have a great weekend. Thank you for all the birthday wishes. We really appreciate it. Thank you so much. And we'll see you on the flip side.